like, what the fuck is, like, who programmed that answer?
Yeah.
You know, for how do you feel about it? How do you feel about yourself? Mm-hmm. I asked Alexa, who are you? Do you want to know what the fucking response was? Alexa was like, I know who I am. This is a weird world. We'll cut the salmon in half, all right? Doesn't go well with the rest of it. Cut the salmon in half.
Testing.
Oh, yeah.
Feel like I'm in a pod.
Yeah, it's very, very good. But everything just had to change. I just feel like I'm moving into a different space in my life. And a lot of that comes back to this right here, because I never knew how much I was taking human interaction for granted. Like real human interaction, like this type. People are gonna be like, "There's something going on at Earl's job," because this has been like, I don't know how many pods I've talked about me thinking about work and the relationship that you have with work and the moral implications, right? Like of just like the inner moral implications of doing what your job is and feeling like maybe your code of ethics don't align with that. But having to go into this place of lunacy every day to try to make money.
Yep.
You find yourself in a lot of just very distant conversations with people. Mm-hmm. It's for someone like me that thrives on real human connection. It's a very, very weird space to be in, a corporate space with people for a long periods of time, having some cool conversations, a lot of pseudo conversations, a lot of weird, just people up and down with life, and they're like cool one day and they're not the next. And
I feel like especially where you work, I mean, that's just, yeah. That's a variety of people. As they call it,
it's the nature of the beast. Mm-hmm. So it's a very, very interesting thing. And so I know I'm very romantic in my speech, but I really mean that I feel like I walk into a different realm when I go there. Like it's so different than what my regular life is in regards to how I engage with other human people. It gets very, very different.
That makes me think of, have you heard of the show Severance?
No.
It's on Apple TV. And essentially it's people who go work at this job, and I guess they like signed up for it beforehand. They know what they're getting themselves into. But as they go, up the elevator, I don't even know how they do it, but they completely forget about their outside world, kind of who they are, anything that has to do with their personal life. So it's like when they leave work, they're detaching themselves from work. Yeah, so it's like about that, but that kind of, it's like you're going into this new
that's interesting
universe when you go to work, and it's very different.
Well, that seems like something worth investing in. Right, like I don't know exactly what technology they have in this show Severance, but if you could make some sort of portal, like you were walking through a metal detector, except you actually walked into like a different place, or it sort of again gave you amnesia, sort of like that Men in Black neuralizer, like and it just wiped that part of your memory or that part of your life, and then you were able to go into work, and since you're there and you don't have that outside shit, you're just focused on that job. Like I would imagine that would boost productivity crazily, because you're just... I
mean, there were definitely a lot of other underlying issues with it. I mean, they're not allowed to leave the job. So you have one lady who kind of figures out, and she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So she's trying to write notes to herself, like go home, like never come back kind of stuff. But they can, if you have like a note in your pocket or you wrote something on your arm, they've got like too much technology. And so they know. She tried... to hang herself in the elevator one time. Yeah. Then, because as soon as you go down, then you're completely detached. So, yeah. No, it'd be cool to invest in that if you weren't like literally a prisoner.
Yeah, because you're right. Because I'm just thinking about like the positive aspects. Like for a lot of people that leave work, and I was having this conversation with a young lady today, actually, and how it's very, very difficult for people to detach from their jobs. People leave their jobs and they're still at their job in their mind.
They're bringing their work home.
And they're just thinking about, I've known people to tell me that wait a minute, this may even happen to me.
Is this your story?
Well, I definitely heard from a guy that he started having night terrors. He got in some leadership position like a manager. And I suppose the amount of emails he was getting, text messages he was getting, people just calling his phone, the amount of time he could no longer hang with his fiance at the time, hang with his family, which was very important to him. Like, there was just so many things. He had just swallowed up his life. Mm-hmm. And so he would just start waking up thinking about something that had happened that day or some hypothetical scenario from work. And he would just wake up in cold sweats, like really fucking thinking about work. Like it's
not ideal.
No, man. Like it was stressing him the fuck out. And that happens to a lot of people. It's very difficult for people to get outside of that.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we talk about a lot as, somebody studying social work. Self-care is such a huge thing because you have to detach yourself from that kind of field of work going home, because then you're going to have all these kind of issues. But I feel like there's like pros and to this idea of being able to do that, pros and cons of both, because at the same time, going to work and having just like your work friends, like that's your work family, but like that's it. Like you can go in, you can vent to them about stuff that's going on, and it's not like going anywhere. It's just kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's pros and cons.
See, that's the thing is that I do this so much and I like this so much. The other types of conversations are lesser versions. like this is, I do this. Like, so the conversations I'm having there are just much lesser.
I feel like you just they're just like little, if you picture them as just little mini snippets of a pod, just at different times throughout your day. Not less.
I like that idea, and I think that, and you know what? And I think that that's right. I think that does happen. And I thought about that earlier today as I was walking through work, because there was some bullshit that happened. It's stupid. Just some of the stuff there is just so stupid. And then I found a few people in that, because there's so many people that work there, like hundreds of people that work there. So I found some people that I like, and that are cool, like decent humans, and having very cool conversation with them really does. I mean, I don't hold a grudge. So like I don't stay in the pocket of being upset for too long, because there's just too much going on out here in the world, like for me to just harp on this one thing. But I'll tell you, talking with people in a cool setting is so energizing for me. It's so energizing for me. I love it. It's so cool. And because I know that there's a place that you can go where I know that for me, I feel like expression has always been very important. And I know that in what people would like to say the real world, you can't just be yourself, right? Okay, so I don't want to be a part of the real world. Like I want to be a part of Earl's world, right? Like that's because I don't want to. I think that it's a very, very weird world that we live in that things are not more honest. I understand reasons as to why things are not, but it's just, I understand that like social pressures and financial incentives get in the way, but it's such a weird, like if you're at work, let's say you're in a relationship, right? And you have family, you have friends. If you're in those relationships, and this is not the type of relationships that I'm in, and you have an issue with that person, if there's just something that needs to be spoken about, I should be able to speak to you about that thing, because I know that's going to be the quickest way that we can get to some resolve, right? Which is going to make you better. It's going to make me better. It's going to make the situation better. All boats are going to rise on the same tide, right? But in the workplace, you can't do that. Like, it's not conducive to a place of just having reasonable, vulnerable discussion because there are too many legalities and pride and sabotage and just weird and egos involved to really do that. And just general rules and etiquette that does not really allow you to do that. So you have to, if you know that, you have to consciously walk in to a place of encouraged lunacy. Like that is.
You're not wrong.
You're yeah. Like explain it to me differently.
No,
like,
I think that was worded perfectly.
So that's the life that you live until you can figure something else out and build something for yourself where you can get out of that and be free. So when I say that these conversations are like bolstering, my expression and being able to just know there are people that you can sit down with and have a good time and relax and be yourself, and they can be themselves. And you can just talk and chat and it's very, very just freeing for me to do that. Very freeing.
Well, that's good. I mean, but yeah, I
that's the end of my rant.
I understand that. Just maybe like I said, other conversations aren't lesser. They're just. Because if you took those same people who you were talking to at work and put them here, you would think that'd be a better conversation.
Yes.
Well,
absolutely.
But
it's
not
the building that encourages the bullshit. They're all regular humans. Like once they go out and they have a drink or they smoke a joint or they're just like hanging out with you at fucking the park, I'm certain they're right, much better people.
I guess what I'm getting at is it's not. I guess when you say that those conversations are lesser, in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, well, the person you're talking to is making it like a lesser conversation. No. But if you took them to a different place, yeah.
It's just not that place is not conducive for that. Like it doesn't breathe. It breathes the opposite.
Right.
If anything, you're scared. If you've been in the industry long enough, someone has done some shady shit to you. So you start to become untrusting. Yeah. And you're having conversations with people like you trust them, but they don't, but you don't. And they know that you know, right? Like it's just like they're very, very weird, like moments of eye contact with people in there. So it's just, it's very, very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. But it's, I was talking to someone about again, my love for this is because I guess that's all I really talk about. And I was like, one of the reasons I do this, because I don't know if I've really expressed this to this degree, is because there is no other. This is dying off.
For sure.
People just sitting down and talking to one another is dying off. So that's one. Two. Even when you call a friend up, and we will just go hang out somewhere else next time, right? I'm not going to drag you in here every time.
I'm always happy to hop on a pod.
I love doing these.
Because if I came here and we didn't do this, like we would just be out there talking.
Yeah.
So, like if we hang out, like we're going to be talking.
Facts, That was a nice little walk we took, though.
Very pretty.
I did enjoy
Very
that.
Pretty.
What was I talking about? So
why you love it.
Yeah, right. So forgetting a lot of stuff recently. Anyway, but because when you hang out with a friend and you're like, hey, let's go hit the bar, let's go to a coffee shop and chat and catch up. That's nice. Love coffee, get a little Danish or some shit like that. Or maybe for me, I'll get a little slice of tiramisu. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, with a little latte, some little salmon lox on the side, some capers and onions, you know what I mean? And you're talking with your friend, that's cool. And like you're saying, it doesn't have to, you don't have to look at it as a lesser conversation, but it is different because you're eating food, right? So there's food in between you. Like that's an activity you're doing while you're talking to someone. You're drinking, that's an activity while you're talking to someone. There's all of this extraneous information like bells ringing when someone walks in. Ding, 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 ding. Somebody coming in for a to-go order, so they're coming in and coming right back out. It's busy in there. There's a bunch of steamers steaming milk, making fucking cappuccinos. The people in the back, order 47 up. No. People
got
coming.
Karen in the corner.
Karen's in the corner. Where's my order? I've been sitting here for my lemon cake for 20 minutes. Oh my God. Right. Like there's all these things going on. They're shiny objects. They're people you want to look at. Yo, look at their pants. Like, oh shit. Like when the fuck they still make those?
What are those?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's an event when you go out to a fucking coffee shop. And in a bar is a fucking bar. So it's even more of an event.
You don't go out to a bar to just
to really, I mean, I think older people, like when you start to get older, you do. But no, when you're like 18 to 27-ish, maybe, probably, yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. 21. I mean, I didn't do the fake ID thing, but I hear that a lot of people had fake IDs early.
I wouldn't even know. I never had one. Wouldn't know how to go about it. Yeah. I knew people who were legal enough to give me drinks.
Oh, so there you go.
So I didn't need one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just. Wait, what the fuck was I just talking about? I lost it again.
Why you like this? You know,
right. Yeah, exactly. So again, the bars, the coffee shops, all these places, you're just constantly overly stimulated. There's just too much. And for most people that have not done any sort of practices to really hone their focus in any, hyper aware way, you're just gonna get caught up in shit. Like people's attention is gonna go all over the place. This is the only thing. It's very fascinating because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, wait a minute. Where else do you go where it's just you, another person, maybe a few people, you all have headphones on. It's only our voices coming through here. And you know what I was thinking too, because there are fantastic podcasts that have TVs on walls. You can, look up information, just look at stuff, maybe just have shit playing in the background. People like to have that.
Oh, I don't think I could do that.
Right? Some people really like that shit, just knowing that the TVs be calming to people. People like to go to sleep with TVs on. People just
like during a podcast? I understand if you're looking up something, but that sounds mad distracting. Yeah.
I was thinking about having one, but then I was like, but what's the intention behind? Yeah, like what am I, right? Like what's the intention behind that? If anything, I want to keep it as old as possible. Like I want it to be that campfire feeling, just two people sitting. I was thinking about I almost got a rocking chair, 2 peas in a pod. You and
Stokes will like that one.
I was gonna get a rocking chair, but then it was creaking, and I was like, I'm gonna get a rocking chair, but I can't have it for the pod. Just hanging. I'm getting too old. But yeah, man, how are you gonna be so old like they can hear it through the pod? Like I don't want them to hear my oldness through the microphone. That's crazy. So that's it. It's just a very unique set of circumstances to have a connection with someone. So I think that's another thing for me. It's not just because I like speaking with people in general, but I think it has a lot to do with the podcast and having
the aesthetic and
having the feel. And for me, you were asking me when you walked in, like, does it sound like different? Like what's going on here? What are the vibes? And I feel free. That's just the best way to put it.
It definitely, I don't know about the sound. I mean, this is only my third one. But it being enclosed definitely gives it a different feel. I do like that. It just kind of takes you out, puts you in a different world.
Yes.
Off. And it's funny that you were mentioning that about like going out to eat and stuff. Because when we talked about meeting up, you asked like what I want to do and like just hang out or go out and get something to eat. I said something about getting something to eat, and then in my mind I was like, well, I don't know if I really want to do that, because I know that the conversation's not going to be what it would be if we were just like hanging out, because you do have like the food and everything, so it just wouldn't be as,
the waiter, you're ordering the food, they're coming back real fast. Anything else I can do? Nah, we good.
Right. And then you're eating, and so it wouldn't be the conversation that I enjoy having with you.
Yeah. So that time at Uncle Julio's was nice.
And the food is always
good. Yep. Whatever, the little fucking pineapple jalapeno margaritas. Because I think they did like a cycling margarita thing. I had a plum margarita one time. Like they have they have a margarita of a day. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, strawberry ones. But that plum and any pineapple jalapeno margarita somewhere, I'll most likely probably get that.
Margaritas, man.
Yeah.
I mean, phone case is about margaritas. Save water, drink margaritas, and then the pop socket, don't be salty unless you're a margarita. I love margaritas. Throw some jalapenos in there. Yes. I think the one before that was potatoes. So I know.
Yeah. It was definitely potatoes. Yep. That's so funny. These things is usually potatoes. I mean, I like margaritas. Yeah, potatoes. I mean, I like them in certain ways, like expectations. No. Oh wait, no. Oh, you just like a potato.
I'm so passionate about. No, I'm so passionate about potatoes. And like people who know me, they know it's because they're so versatile. There is so much you can do with them. Okay, and they're all so good. Baked potatoes, that's kind of on the bottom, but like everything else,
I think so too.
But twice baked potatoes, because that's essentially a mashed potato. But
do you load your baked potatoes up? Like you do the cheese, bacon, sour cream, chives?
It depends.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it
Eating
depends.
that is kind of insane. What did we come? Is that an American thing? We be coming up with the nastiest of shit.
They're probably high.
Who was like, yo, let's open up a baked potato, stuff it with as much cheese, sour cream, bacon, and chives as we can, and whatever else people put in those. That's just, what do you...
There's other stuff that people put in there?
I don't know.
I hope. That's a lot.
But but people find new things with everything.
Yeah.
I had a fucking white asparagus ice cream recently.
That sounds disgusting.
I know.
That sounds really bad.
And that's why I ordered
I've heard there's like a spicy ice cream. I don't know about that either. That sounds pretty bad. But yours sounds worse. That sounds disgusting. I already don't really like ice cream. And you said white asparagus ice cream?
Yes. It's so weird. They had so many. It was a niche kind of place. It was
So what did it taste like?
Have you had white asparagus?
I haven't.
Neither have I.
Okay. I was waiting for like the description.
Yeah, no, there is some just...
I didn't even know that there was white asparagus.
I didn't either. I didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about.
Is there white asparagus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I do believe, yes, that there's white asparagus. I don't know even if that looks like. Does it look like asparagus?
Is it like
white?
the cauliflower of broccoli?
Right.
What does it taste? Yeah, I don't know. That's not, I mean, I like asparagus. So
I love the moments like these because we just don't know about some whole shit going on. But I wonder, like, whoever listens to this is well acquainted. And they're just like, what are they talking about? Like, they don't fucking know what white asparagus is. Like, why are they talking about it like this? Like it's some alien life form.
I feel like it's not that common.
Let's get off of this.
Okay.
Where have you been? I feel like we haven't. When was the last time you were on the pod? Because that's the last time I've seen you. Correct?
The only times I have been on the pod were Thanksgiving. I'm a Thanksgiving pod. So it's kind of weird to be here now.
Yo, you definitely have to come back next Thanksgiving.
I'll be here.
You have to. We have to keep this going. That's so funny. I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thankful for our conversations. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Okay, yeah. So, but you've been doing some traveling though, right?
Yeah, I haven't been home. I'm actually kind of ready to get back. So the end of May, I went on a cruise for Shelby's birthday.
Very nice. How it's like 7 days?
No, we did a 5-day cruise.
Okay,
left out of Norfolk.
Tell me about that. Let's not gloss over that. I want to stay on the cruise for a second. Let's talk about it because I've only been on one. So
it was really fun. Which one did you go on?
Carnival.
Okay, so yeah, this was my 4th cruise. And my first 2 were Royal Caribbean. And then this one and my previous one were Carnival.
How do you feel about the range and
I really like Carnival. And it kind of like if I was going with my family, then I would say Royal. Royal is just more kind of family oriented. And that's why I wanted to do Carnival. Because I did Carnival when I was, I think like 22-ish, 23. And I brought one of my best friends with me, and it was fun. It was lit. I mean, that's the perfect age to go. We can go and like drink and everything. So it was fun. And it was Carnival, so it was kind of like a party vibe. Whereas Royal is more like family oriented.
Cruise ships are just off the top of the head. I don't have to think about this. Are just nasty places. You're just there's something about being in the water. It's like rules don't matter out here. Like we're in the water.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know,
you're not wrong.
People are getting. It was a huge party when I went. Mm-hmm. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I that's where that was my first time having a espresso martini, and let me tell you, I am a fiend for them now.
Yeah,
so good.
What's the flavor profile? Favorite profile of it? I mean, I get espresso, I get that. What is the martini? What is that made out of again? Like, what is a good martini made out of?
I think a martini
mostly.
Is it gin or is it vodka? No, it's vodka because a gin. I'm thinking of a gin and tonic.
Yeah. Because gin would be ridiculous.
Yeah, but it has to be made right. So the first one that I had, we were at, like, you know how they have the scheduled dinners every evening. I was there and I got one and it was good. I mean, it was my first one, so I didn't really have anything to compare it to. I drank it, but when I went to the martini bar and got one, it was like they actually got the espresso. You know, it was different level. Whereas I think that the one I had at dinner was like an infused kind of liqueur and just was after I had them at the martini bar, I didn't get any more at dinner. I got wine because I was going back to get all the fresh ones from the martini bar.
I might try that espresso martini. They always look really nice with a little foam on top. It's floating with a couple cocoa beans on top.
As soon as we'd walk up, they already knew. But then it turned out that they didn't have an espresso machine there. So there, I mean, like, here was the martini bar, and just on the other corner was like a coffee shop. So I'd have to go and get my own espresso.
And bring it over.
Yep, and I did.
Yeah,
I did. Before I even went and said hello to them, I got my espresso, brought it up because they already knew.
Dude, some things, and I'll get to other things being really good. But when I was on that cruise, I was like 20, I think I was like 21 at the time. Yeah, I believe I was 21 at the time. No, I'm tripping. I was like 25 at the time. That was a huge jump.
That's a difference.
Huge jump. Yeah, I was 25. And my brother told me, like, yo, I know this company named Barbizon. Most of his friends down there worked for that company at the time. It was some, like, for the most part, child modeling agency. And they had a yearly cruise. Where a bunch of kids paid a ton of money to go on there, and they would have all these different auditions and exhibits, you know, for the kids on there. Like, there'd be some cold reads on there, some singing talent shows, some, you know, walk the runway type of deal, like all that sort of all those sort of things. And there would be a bunch of agents from modeling agencies that would go there to like scout, you know, and he had been going on this cruise for like 3 or 4 years at this point in time. He was like, yo, you got to come this year. It's in October. We're going in as staff. He was like, but that shit is not hard. And so your cruise is paid for.
Done.
Because so I'm like, yeah,
done.
I'm in there. Yeah. And the beautiful thing was it catapulted my exercise because I wasn't hitting the gym. I wasn't exercising before that. But I wanted to go on a cruise and look good. That was my incentive at the time because I was going on what was a model cruise. So I know there's going to be a bunch of people on there.
Well, weren't they children?
Yeah, but but if you're in that industry though, everyone, sort of tries to be that.
Earl's going to leave a model.
Yeah.
I went on a cruise and came back as Tyra Banks.
Yeah, because people are trying to like throw their hat in the ring. Like they want to look good and see if there's like some possibility that they get picked up because it doesn't have to be a child. You know what I mean? And plus you just want to look good anyway. Yeah. So I started pumping fucking iron. I started going to the gym with Duty and he was getting me in there. I started going twice a day and I put on like 20 pounds of just muscle. Yeah, I was kind of yoked. Yeah. And I went down there and it was just, I got paid when I got back 7 days later. Like
Where did it go?
There was a paycheck that was like $400. It went to Mexico.
You got paid for what?
For being there and like showing people like, oh, this is the way to the bathroom. And just ushering people to places that they need to go in order to catch.
I didn't realize you were going to quote unquote work.
I flew down to Florida. We got on the boat there. And yeah, that was just pretty much my job. When we got off on the island in Mexico, I had the responsibility of making sure that like 8 of the kids, they were like, these people were teenagers, but 8 of those teenagers got back on the boat when it was time for the boat to go back. And I didn't really do a great job of that. They were just luckily responsible enough to all come back to where they were supposed to when they were supposed. Yeah, because I was off. I think I may have gotten a massage somewhere. Like I was.
I mean, so like you were supposed to stay with them the entire time?
Not technically. You're just supposed to make sure they get back. Whatever it is you can do to make sure.
Like babysitting, because it's like if you leave and come, like you lose them at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just very, very lucky. When it started to get down to like that 20 minutes time, I was like, man, where are these motherfuckers at? Like, bro, if I lose a child in Mexico, oh my God. But everyone got back on there. It was fine.
That's good.
But it was just, there was just nothing but heavy drinking. As soon as all the kids and like everyone went back to their cabins, it was just party time for the staff.
Right.
From like 9 to like 3 o'clock in the morning. But then we had to get back up at like 5 or 6 to start getting ready for the day. And you were just living off of alcohol. Like the water wasn't even like good water. You know, what type of water they really have out there for you. So the water wasn't, I'm not saying it's not good because you just, how good can cruise water be? Like, where are they storing the water? Well, you know what I mean?
The water was fine.
You did? Oh, maybe it was good. I don't know. Either way.
Were you drinking bottled water?
Maybe I just wasn't even worried about the water.
Maybe not.
Maybe I was just trying to, because it seemed like every time you stopped drinking, like you were going to crack because you had just been drinking for too long that night.
Yeah.
Like, and the drinks were free.
That was going to be my next question.
They were free.
Because that was one of, so going on to the cruise, we were debating on whether or not to get the drink package. Because I don't really drink like that. Shelby doesn't really drink like that. I mean, Brian, he can drink enough to like make it worth it. But it's like, that's a lot of money for kind of like a small amount of drinks. No, it was totally worth it.
Nice.
Totally worth it. Because we all ended up getting it. Well, they had to, because if Brian got it, Shelby had to. Because if you're in the same room, then everybody in the room has to get it. Which
interesting.
It sounds like a silly rule to me.
But. Yeah, but it's a lucrative rule though.
For sure.
It works for them for sure.
So I ended up getting it as well, and it's totally worth it because it included bottled water. If you had coffees, so we were trying to think like if we went to breakfast, mimosas and Bloody Marys for breakfast, and then just little stuff throughout the day. Totally worth it. Yeah. So this is everyone's time for everyone to go on a cruise and do the drink package.
The food didn't, I mean, the scheduled dinner seemed cool, but the food that was just kind of up during the day, like the breakfast and the lunches was kind of like, listen, it didn't seem like that for me. Maybe, but
I actually thought that our dinner, like the scheduled dinners, that food was worse than the food that was just like out throughout the day, like the buffets. And it was all just really kind of mediocre.
I may have just been because I'm listening to the stuff you're saying. I feel like I was like, was it that bad? Or like I don't even know anymore. Like maybe she's got me fucked up right now. Like because I think. There's so many, the common theme of this whole episode is just going to be me going into different realms. I think that.
Throws world, I think whichever one.
I was so drunk those whole 7 days. That sort of partying is just beyond me. All I knew is when I got off that boat and got back home, I needed to just drink tons of water and exercise and eat good. Because I'll tell you what it is. Maybe it's not that it wasn't good. It's just that it's not healthy foods. Like you're not getting healthy foods on the cruise.
No. Let's be clear.
I think that's what I meant to say.
When I said that it was good food, you think I was out here eating salads every day? No. I mean, like it was. I don't remember the name of the restaurant. It was called like, I think maybe it was just called like Guys, but it was a burger joint. Oh,
hold on. See, there wasn't no goddamn burger joint where I was at. I don't remember that.
Okay, well, I don't think when I was on Royal, there was one either. But I also don't think that the last time I was on Carnival, there was one. Because I was like, this shit is fire. Those burgers were so good. But I don't remember. I really just remember the pizza place because that's like the one place that's always open at night. and then like kind of the buffet food. But yeah, they had a burger spot for breakfast. There was I think it was called the Blue Iguana. It's like a little Mexican spot. They had delicious breakfast burritos. Food was good. So I don't know what Royal was doing.
All right, but how? All right, so how was the cruise just in general?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. It ended up just being me, Shelby, and Brian. They were gonna have a couple other people come, but they weren't able to. So just the three of us. But it was so much fun. We met some people, some of our table mates, at dinner.
Okay.
Two of them live kind of close to Shelby and Brian. They're down in Hampton now, and they're actually. I'm going to see Shelby this weekend, and I think one of the girls that we met on the cruise is going to come as well. So it was a lot of fun.
Very nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Very, very nice.
Wasn't there long enough, but the first day, so we boarded on Saturday. On Sunday, around like 12 o'clock, the weather started to get a little bit bad. So we couldn't spend too much time outside. And then the last day, the weather was really bad. I mean, that ship was rocking. Yeah. So only got so much tan time, but left with some tan lines. So I'll take it. I was like, if I don't come back with a tan, I'm not coming back. I was so just entirely too much looking like Casper.
You think so?
Yes. Yes. My friend always makes fun of me because I would like put my hand against the wall, like, see, I blend right in.
Really?
Yeah, no. I mean,
I've been around you, I guess, in every Thanksgiving, I guess, for the past 2 years at least. So, I guess you are much, lighter than.
Yeah. It's just because I had gone so many years without sun. High school up until
what the hell?
Without okay, obviously
where the hell was you at?
In a box.
Why did they keep you, JP?
No,
so many years without sun. You was locked up. I didn't know you did that, Tom. Yeah, what you talking about?
Okay, let me rephrase that. I guess I just went so many years where I wasn't going on like summer vacations. I grew up with my best friend's house. They had a pool, so we're outside all the time. I tan really easily. We were always doing family vacations, but after the older I got, we weren't doing those as much. And I was outside, but I wasn't like outside like that.
Didn't I just see a picture of you in like London? No,
I haven't been to Europe since like 5th grade. I feel like...
Where were you where you were walking around the streets in very long velvet black boots?
I knew exactly what picture you're talking about.
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
Oh, that was Minneapolis.
And
okay. I don't know
was it the building maybe looked kind of European?
Yeah, maybe.
It was a pretty building. That's why we stopped there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that was Minnesota.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, how was Minnesota?
Minnesota was fun. Yeah, so 5-day cruise. I got back on a Thursday. I left that Saturday to go to Minnesota for 2.5 weeks. That was a lot of fun. Those are my two like best friends, childhood friends. I've known them since 2nd grade. The oldest one, Kara, just had a son in January. So I was super excited to go meet my little nephew.
That's cool. You're just like hopping around and seeing people.
Yeah.
Seeing people you love.
Pretty much doing it while I'm on break. And it helps because I can work from home. So I can work. I mean, I didn't work on the cruise, but.
No, you did not.
But like worked in Minnesota. So that was a lot of fun. I was really nervous. I love kids. 2 to 7 is my favorite age range.
Okay, well, you have this down to a science, I'm certain.
I mean, that's just the fun age. The toddlers are so much fun. They get too old, and then they, I know what I was like, so I wouldn't want to hang out with that.
They start to get cool, and
right?
shit,
and then when they're babies, they're babies. They're a blob. That's not fun. But it's like a pet rock that screams, cries, poops, eats.
Yeah.
But I guess I've been around more toddlers than I have like babies, and I'm like how do I play with a baby? And then I met Shelby's daughter. She did not like me. I met her. So Leo, Kara's son, is 4 months. When I met Shelby, because I was out in Cali for a while last year, that's when I met Shelby's daughter, who's the same age. And so I realized that she was okay with me holding her as long as she was facing away. If I had her facing me, she was not about it. But okay, she's 4 months, maybe I just don't have the baby touch there. So then when she was home for the holidays last year, and so I went over to see him. And at that point, she's almost, she'd be about like 9 months then. I was thinking, all right, maybe we're good now. No, we were not.
Wow.
But at that point, she's at the age where like it's stranger danger. She can recognize faces. She doesn't really know me. she seemed okay, and then I kind of got a little bit too close and my hair moved too much and she lost it. So I went down to Hampton to see them in, I think, March. And we realized, because she wasn't quite crying when I saw her. She seemed okay. But Shelby had her on her lap next to me, and we saw her like looking at me weirdly, but she was looking at my hair. So when Shelby touched my hair, she touched my hair. And then after that, we're best friends.
Really?
So it was the hair, which makes sense because, you know, Shelby's got the thin, like, fine hair. Her family all has, like, the same kind of hair type. So I guess she's just never...
Oh, you think that, like, it was...
I think it was the hair because it was...
Like, you think it looked like some fucking monster?
Yeah, probably.
Like some little fucking coiling snakes coming towards her?
I guess so.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, because I don't have, like, little hair, you know? It's when I looked at her and over the holidays, like, and I shook my hair.
That's a beautiful moment, though. Like, that whole story of, like, her... Like, well, as far as we can tell... Well, we're just going to go with, for the sake of the story, she's afraid of your hair. And for months.
Yeah.
Like for months. Like from
Granted, I had only seen her when she's 4 months, and then I didn't see her again.
I know, but that's even crazier for the fact that it stood at 4 months. She knew, I'm afraid of this thing. And then still, five months later.
Either that or she just hadn't seen anybody else with kind of hair. So it was like,
right.
The fear can't go anywhere because she hasn't been working on it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But like, there's a fear that she has to work on.
Right, yes.
You know, and to see maybe the first fear that this being has worked on.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
true.
Where you got to see her, like, see someone she loves and cares for.
Yeah,
like she trusts.
Shelby touched my hair. So then Lennon's like reaching out and starting to touch my hair.
She's like, oh, like this is okay. Yeah. That's so beautiful. Yeah. That's such a cool thing.
Yeah. So I'm super excited because that's my next stop is this weekend. So yeah, so I got back from the cruise, went to Minnesota, got back from Minnesota on a Thursday and then drove up here on a Friday. So I've just been constantly on the move. So been here I leave on Thursday. And then on Friday I'm going to Hampton. So I'm going
Summer
to Hampton.
JP. She's different.
Gotta take advantage of it while I can.
Yeah, because Hampton is that's the actual.
That's where she is.
Yeah. Wait, who?
Shelby.
Yeah. So you're going. Okay. So you went to Minnesota. You're going down after you've already taken the trip. So it's cruise,
Minnesota, Manassas,
and then going back to
going back to Richmond on Thursday. Friday, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to go down to Hampton from Friday until Wednesday, and then Wednesday I'll go back to Richmond for Wednesday night. And then Thursday, I'm going to come back up here because it's Lexi's birthday. So
you are just
I'm ready to be home. I'm ready to be home.
You going on tour?
I'm ready.
You got tour
for
dates.
Real.
Okay,
Literally.
But
so
but ultimately you're just going popping in all these places and having a really good time.
Yeah. And I'm there for like a prolonged time. I mean, Hampton will be a long weekend, but I'm there for like long enough that, you know, it's not like I'm just there for like a couple nights. So I'm like really on the move. But I'm seeing all my friends while I can. I'm on summer break.
Yeah.
But no, I'm ready to be home.
Okay.
I'm ready to be home.
And then once you get home, what are you going to do? Just lay down?
I can't even because I have a lot of like house sittings scheduled over like so no.
Wow.
So when I'm back next weekend for Lexi's birthday, so I'll be here Friday and then I'll end up going back like Tuesday or Wednesday only so I can sleep in my bed for a couple of nights because Friday I start a house sitting gig. And between then
people trust you. That's very nice.
I got the reviews.
You said you got reviews?
Yeah, well, because I do it off an app, so like there are reviews there. But like I've been doing this. Yeah, I've been doing this for when I was doing it here. A lot of my clients were word of mouth, starting with like my parents and their friends, and going from there. So it's like easier to trust somebody when you know it's from someone you know. But I didn't have that in Richmond.
What's the app name?
It's Rover.
Rover.
Rover and Wag are like the two main ones. Wag tends to be more of just like dog walking. So if I'm just looking for like to just go like walk a dog or something. And
that's so funny. There's so many ways to make money. Like
and people will pay for so they don't have to like put their dog in a kennel. I mean, people will
make a quick buck. Just go walk some dogs.
Yeah. Yep.
You make quick buck. Just go watch some houses. Man, yeah, people have to really look at those fucking reviews. Because some things you read reviews, it's like, oh, I'm about to hit an Italian restaurant tonight. And you see some reviews
Right.
and you're like, oh, these reviews are like, but it looks pretty good. Like, let's just give it a shot. If your reviews are anything but, I would have to imagine that if there's anything but spectacular things said about you, like you're because why would you go with anything aside from just whoever has 5 stars?
I mean, yeah, you wouldn't
for watching people's houses.
But it's like sometimes I'll go on the site and look just to kind of get an idea. So scope out what's going on, see if I need to update my prices, look what other people's profiles are looking like. Yeah, no, this is.
Well, yeah, you definitely got to do that. You got to know what the market's hitting.
Right. Some people's prices are outrageous. So I started doing this way back. I mean, I my first job was working with dogs. So like I've been doing this kind of stuff for a really long time. And when I started doing it, it was fun. You know, people would ask what I charge. I'm like, whatever you feel like giving me. I'm really just doing it because I enjoy doing it.
I just want to walk your dog.
well, you know, it's not the dog walk. It's like when I'm staying, the house sitting is watching the dog, staying there overnight. Yeah, I mean, like, whatever. And now I'm doing it. I mean, because it's still fun. But I can still like earn good money doing it. There are some people who charge outrageous prices. Like
hourly, what are they charging?
So it's more per day. So like I will charge, I think I have mine set right now at 35.
Okay. Per day.
35. I may have bumped it to 37 recently, but I don't like to, because I think about when I worked at the kennel and what the prices were there. So sometimes I'll go and look at like kennels in the area, because some reasons that people wouldn't want to board their dog. Number one, their dog just hasn't, done it before. So it's caused a lot of anxiety and stuff. Some dogs are really good with it. Some dogs aren't. Another is just that it's fucking expensive. So I don't want to charge more than a kennel would. And like, if you're able to leave your dog at home, you shouldn't have to charge as much money.
I had a friend that had a girlfriend that had a dog that was on Prozac.
Yeah, that's a normal thing.
Oh, it's a normal thing. Mm-hmm. You just put it in the food, let them eat it up, calms them down.
However they'll do it. I mean, some dogs are too good, but like you can wrap it in cheese, put it in a pillow pocket, but they eat around it and spit it out. So if you have a dog like that, you just got to poke it down there. Do you have any reasoning
as to why these dogs these days have this anxiety? Is it like learned?
Sometimes I think it's just the behavior. You have dogs like German Shepherds, who are they're really just big people dogs, and those ones have a lot of anxiety and stuff. I think if they're young, if you're asking about younger dogs now, it's because of COVID. You're getting a puppy during COVID. You're home with it the entire time. Now you're going back out into the world. You've created the separation anxiety.
Geez.
Yeah. So anytime I saw a COVID puppy, I'm like, it's not going to be good. Just
yeah. Like you're just not. You don't even know what the world is. Like this world has just been this very, very small place in these walls.
Yep.
And you just get released in this fucking blistering winds and a fucking searing light coming from the sky, and all these people walking around, and it's just like, oh, can I come touch your dog? Can I play with your dog?
It's not even really that. It's just that, okay, yeah, sure, maybe you have somebody who they take their dog everywhere they go, which is also increasing that separation anxiety. But if the dog, okay, during COVID, let's say they went on a walk, but they weren't like taking the dog out to, eat on the patio of a restaurant because it's COVID. But the dog's always here with you. It's just that when you leave, you walk out that door, you don't have the dog with you. The dog's like freaking out now. It's like, where's my person? So you come home and the place is trashed, or they've just been yelling the entire time.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. So those are COVID. People talk about COVID babies, but as someone who works with dogs, you got the COVID puppies.
Oh, jeez.
And sometimes it's just the dog.
Like they just don't know. Like where is he? Where is she?
They just don't know.
What happened to her?
Right.
And then it's not till you go, oh, you're back.
You could go and check the mail and like hear the dog just like screaming. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh.
They're not all like that,
of course, yeah.
But a lot of them are.
Yeah, you get okay. So dogs on Prozac, okay.
Yeah.
Normal thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you grew up kind of doing this.
Yeah, and so so some of the prices out there. So that's about what I do, and I would say average seems to be like 40s. But I've seen some people who are like anywhere from 80 to like 100 and something. And I'm like, and there's reviews. Who the fuck is paying this kind of money for you to watch their dog? what?
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Because why would you charge somebody that much?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And who's gonna pay? Y'all are both crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess only one person is crazier because if you're gonna pay for that,
for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna hit this lake if you're gonna let me.
So I house sat for somebody who also did Rover, and she said that I think she was in Colorado at one point when she did it, and she was in an area that was very high end, and so you can charge that kind of money because those kind of people are going to pay it.
Yeah.
Richmond has expensive areas.
Right.
I don't think like downtown Richmond you should be charging that kind of money. So I always want to know the people.
Yeah, because my question is like, why is your dog watching abilities so precious? Like, what are you going to do with my dog?
Right.
Why are you because I'm assuming if you're charging me this, just like anything else in the world, if you're charging more, you would have to assume that it's better quality or there's a reason for it. So how are you about to watch my dog versus how are they going to watch my dog?
Right.
Like what's the difference between the $40 an hour person or $40 a day to the $80 a day?
I'll tell you what
are you going to do?
Nothing that the $40 person couldn't do.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's like family members or they're just making these like accounts to just go out of their way to write these reviews, because those are the ones typically only have like 5 reviews. I have like,
if you have worked in like a kennel before or you've just been around dogs a whole lot, is there anything that you could put on your resume? Like, what's your bio look like?
Yeah, no, I don't like to toot my own horn and say that like I am the best out there, but it's a lot of the profiles that I come across are just people like, like I grew up with dogs, grew up loving animals. I will treat them like they're my own family. Da 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 da. Yes, that's very true.
Right.
I worked at a kennel and daycare for 12 and a half years.
See?
I have this kind of background. Like I know the dog behaviors. Right. And the profiles have different sections. So it's kind of like, you're a little about me. And then it's like, some people do like boarding where the dog would come to you, and it's like you put a little blurb in there about that. So I only did that like once. But mine's just, like I have this, like the safetiness of my house and like, the fenced in yard and everything, da 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 da. And then it's like what I would be comfortable with. Like I'm comfortable, administering any kind of medication, injections, anything like that. Like I've done that.
I'm certain you've had to.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's just like anything else that, you'd want to know from the owner. So I feel like mine is just very more, it's personable, but it's also business-like. It's not just that like, I'm doing this because I just love animals.
Yeah.
Which I obviously do, but
yeah. Yeah, you're qualified.
Yeah.
That's very well put.
So, which is why I want to know why these people that have 100 and some, as their like charge have like, why they have any reviews. I have a lot of reviews, but like, because like I said, I just don't want to bump my prices up too much because I don't think it's necessary. It's not, the area that we're in and everything. But like, shit, what can I get away with?
I want to read bad reviews for like dog watchers.
Well, and that's another thing. I go on all these, and nobody really has like negative reviews. So it's not like Yelp.
It seems like such a great charitable type of place to be. Like that app has a very different sort of base there, but I would just have to assume that there has to be some fuckery somewhere.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure majority of the time people like the owners will talk to the person, specifically rather than going just at that point, just don't write a review. I think might be like their mindset.
I do that.
Just wouldn't write a review.
Yeah, man.
I see.
You like to be honest. Like, no, you guys need to
I don't. If I just go to like Starbucks, I'm not going to write a review. But if I go somewhere and like it's exceptionally,
you're not going to stop the business at Starbucks. I don't care what you say.
That's not what I mean. I just mean like I'm not going to write a review about just like any casual like outing.
Yeah.
If I go somewhere and it's like exceptionally well done and everything, I'll write a review about that.
Okay.
If I go somewhere and it's exceptionally terrible for like a handful of reasons, yes, I'm writing a review.
And you're pretty objective and like reasonable about your reviews. Either way they go, right? Yeah,
I've written more like good. I haven't written a lot of reviews. Just a handful, but but I think I probably only have like maybe 2 that are bad, and that's one was One was because we were staying at the Old Town Inn. Is that what it's called? The little
in
Old Town Manassas.
That's probably what it's called.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is.
We've walked past this place a million times, and we don't know what it's called. Right, the Old Town Inn. Someone's gonna be like, "You fucking idiots!"
The person who had the white asparagus.
They also know about the inn we're talking about. That's so fucking funny. But yeah, let's just go with the Old Town Inn.
Yeah. So my friends who I went to visit in Minnesota, they were in town. So they got a room there, and like we went out in Old Town, came back, and like the door was ajar. And yeah, I wrote a terrible review about that because like we went to the front desk, because it's like three just women. We're just not comfortable going in the room like that. Nah, they gave no fucks.
How so?
All.
Like, what did they give you? What type of energy they give you?
So barely looked up. So yeah, she was working, and there was a guy like leaning over the counter, like it looked like a friend who came to like hang out with, boyfriend, I don't know. And so we explained the situation. They're like, oh, well, like, we've been here the entire time. So, like, nothing happened. It's like, oh, okay, that might be the case. But, like, our door's open. Like, we closed our door when we left. Our door is open. So, what are we going to do about this situation? Well, like, we've been here.
Customer service.
Yeah.
It seems to be so bad in so many places.
Well, then it's like, in retrospect, like, looking at that because you wouldn't really expect anything else. Don't recommend it. I think it's now owned by somebody else, so maybe it's a little bit better. And I don't remember. I think that one of my friends ended up kind of like asking the guy if he could at least like walk with us to make sure that it was good, and he was not willing. So at that point, we're just like, okay, never mind. Like, it's cool. We ended up calling the police. He was not willing at all. When I said 0 fucks were given.
He was not willing.
He was not willing. Like, you thought he was going to go help us out? Nah, dog.
It's a direct way of saying it. It just seems like a funny way. He was not willing. It was just a great punchline. That's so weird because I couldn't imagine. How old do you think he was? He was a young kid.
What do you think is young? Let's see. Because this was probably...
Because I couldn't imagine 2 ladies approaching me and saying... 3 ladies approaching me and any ladies approaching me and saying, hey... Or even if they weren't even talking to me, but I was just like a bystander, and they were just saying to someone else, like, hey, I really don't feel comfortable going up there. The door's open. It was not open when I left. I know that you say you've been here, but I don't feel safe. I'm paying to stay. By that point in time, I'm like, hey, would you like me to, what room number, if you feel comfortable with me knowing I can go. That's very check, kind of you. Right? Like, or if you would like me to go, like automatically. You would think. But I'm assuming because the thing is not only did this is why it's doubly funny to me. Because not only did the man not do that, but you all actually asked for his help. Yes. So he's like, y'all are fine. We've been here the whole time. That was the thing. Because I needed to know the words that he said to me. I don't remember if that's exactly what he said. But ultimately, it's like, nah. Yeah, no. It was I'm not going. No. Because I remember just being like, all right, well, fuck this. Like, we'll figure it out. So we ended up calling the police. Like, even as a young person, like, he was. And to answer your question, he was definitely, like, in his 20s or older. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah. Like, he looked like he could have been a formidable opponent to another man, maybe. See, that's the thing. If you was asking somebody that's like, ain't about that life at all. No, like, I think he, at the very least, he could have just like done like one of these, like open the door. If he wasn't that comfortable. But I think he probably, has gotten himself into some situations in the past and could hold his own depending on the person. Okay, all right. But. Yeah, that's terrible. Like I said, in retrospect, it's probably not the best place to stay. To my surprise, I thought it was, like a fine area, but like should have known when we got there. We're coming up the stairs and someone like opens the door and like peeks out as if they're like waiting for like their dealer to like pop up. Oh. And then we were talking to some other friends. I think we heard that it went downhill. Yeah, it's just like a little like
crackhead kind of area.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta you gotta be aware, mind your P's and Q's.
Right, yeah.
You know, you gotta clock. I can't be with people if you're not. I mean, I do it. I think well enough for maybe 2 people. I surveil, and I'm not to the point where I'm making people just anxiety ridden around me, because like you would never know. But I am constantly, just in my very cool, calm, collected way, surveying the area. Like I know who's around me. I know who's behind me. I know what's going on. I know what the vibe is around me. I'm looking at people's facial expressions off in the distance. Like I don't
know that they're quite like that. Like I do the same thing. Sometimes I don't do it enough. Sometimes I'm like really on it doing it.
Well, when you're in these little cities, these little pockets, you know, where you're just saying it's a little crackhead city or whatever.
Well, it was Manassas.
Yeah. You know, say like even just walking around, you just gotta mind those things.
Especially now that like I'm in Richmond, so like I'm really trying to like be on it. But yeah, we needless to say, we grabbed our stuff. We ended up just going back to my house, and they stayed there. Yeah, because that's a hard pass.
Yeah.
So that got a bad review. I felt very passionate about that.
I gave a bad review recently. It was for a restaurant in downtown Leesburg. It's in this beautiful, beautiful old bank. So it looks great when you walk up to it. When you walk inside of it, it's got these like dual staircase, you know, sort of deal that goes up some fucking where. I didn't go over there, but it's a very beautiful place. What I don't like is when people try to act like they're a nice place, but they're not really a nice place. Like if you've been to nice places, you know that this is not a nice place. But they have white tablecloths, and they have men wearing little tuxedo suits and white aprons.
They're little like
the little rag over them so that they can, you know, wipe off a bottle, a nice chilled bottle of wine for you, all that sort of shit. The service was terrible.
Oh, no.
Well, service was terrible just in the fact that it was awkward. He seemed like a nice guy, but he was just awkward and like clunky in the way that he did things. Like opening up a bottle of champagne, like with the cork pointed towards us, which anyone that has opened. Smart. Yeah, like if anyone, you know anything about that, you know to not aim it at the person. Right, exactly, because mishaps happen. Yeah. And every dish that came out was lackluster. They wildly overcharged for what they were giving out. And I was able, with some background in culinary arts, which is kind of weird to say, like just working in restaurants for as long as I have, and on the level also that I have, tasting foods and having to talk about them and having to sort of contemplate the differing and contrasting and dynamic profiles about it, like something being very robust, playing off of something else that is more subtle and neutralizing. I think about these things when I eat food. And when I wrote my review, I respect reviews, but just like I respect people's feedback when I'm listening to them, but I know how to read between the lines. I know I listen to things intently. I read things intently. So I know when you're just kind of venting and getting a bunch of shit off and you're being really nitpicky and you're kind of just being an asshole about the situation. Also can read reviews and know when this person really took their time to tell you exactly what it was, not in a malicious way at all. They stated the things that they did really enjoy about the stay there. Like, that's me. I'm going to give you the whole thing. It's like, there are certain things. Listen, he was a little awkward and clunky with the way that he did certain things. He brought us the wine, opened the wine, poured the champagne, set the bottle down, said, oh, I'm going to come back with the ice bucket for it. Probably should have came out with the ice bucket in the stand, but I'm not going to be a nitpicky guy here, but it's fine. I'll wait for the ice bucket. It's not that crazy. But then he never returns with the ice bucket. And then we have to ask him for the ice bucket. It's just like a little clunky, forgetful things like that. And then the food, like the deviled eggs were the most basic, bland deviled eggs I'd ever seen in my life. It was sitting on a little quarter-sized pickle, like a dill pickle that they just got straight out the fridge. Like, it was just...
Take the pickles away.
Yeah, that's right. Pickles, I know.
My dad puts a little bit in his deviled eggs, and his deviled eggs are delicious. But no, don't put that on a pickle.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And then the next dish, and I was trying to explain to them how this dish didn't make any sense. It was...
Explaining to the servers?
Well, the thing is, when I did the review, I only did a review because they emailed us and said, it was like the owner emailing us and say, hey, I know you've had an experience here. Like, give us some of your feedback. We love it. And I was like, well, since you asked. Right. I went in and I started talking about how beautiful the architecture was and how beautiful the place was, the ambiance was, how nice our server was as a guy. He just a little awkward in the way that he did things. And then I started going on like the dishes and what they were priced for, and me just feeling like being in food and beverage, like this stuff is just not this. Like this is not the price. Y'all ain't like that. Yeah. Like y'all, you're not like that. And it was an ancho chipotle salmon I was supposed to be having, like a baked salmon. I think it was baked, like a baked salmon. It may have been like baked and grilled or something like that. With black beans, but it was like a black bean puree and some sour cream, and there was white rice, and then there was a mango or pineapple salsa type of thing that came with it.
What was the sour cream for? And if you have the mango salsa, what is the black bean puree for?
Yo.
And there's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. And I'm looking at this dish like, what the because when I read it, I was like, this could be right. But this was my thinking. This dish will go right if the ancho chipotle salmon is a hefty piece of salmon, like it's a big cut, and that ancho chipotle is spicy. That had like those two components have to happen. This has to be a good piece of salmon because there's a lot of sides going on here, and it needs to be spicy. It's got to be robust in that flavor profile.
The mango salsa would be perfect with that.
Mango salsa is a sweet, cool, neutralizing substance. The black bean puree that came out was not hot. It was like a cool black bean puree.
I don't like beans in general, so it already sounds like...
So it was a mashed black bean puree. So now that is a completely neutralizing substance. You have sour cream, which is a neutralizing substance. You have you add just white rice, which is a neutralizing component. And then
was it like cilantro lime rice?
Look at you trying to.
I'm trying.
That was cute. No, it was not a cilantro lime rice.
Because that's really good with salmon.
Listen, I'm with you. It was not that. That shit was white rice. There may have been a little sprinkle of basil or some shit on top, but it wasn't like that.
Because the salmon with the chipotle, the mango salsa, and the rice sounds perfect.
It's because every time I say the word ancho and chipotle to you, you keep getting this idea, and it wasn't that. And that's my whole point. This shit was like kind of sweet and a little bland with the spice part of it, and it was a very thin cut of salmon. And you had all of these sides around.
That's why you had so many sides, because there's just not a lot of salmon. We're going to fill them up.
That salmon just wasn't in the budget. Yes.
Right.
Like, we got to cut down on these. Yeah, like, this economy is not for these big ass pieces of salmon. We can't get all these guys. Like, how can we cut on costs? So we'll cut the salmon in half. All right. It doesn't go well with the rest of the. Cut the salmon in half. Just give them all the sides. Fuck.
Table 14 gets this half. 30 gets this half.
Bro. And so that's what happened. And so I was going through the review stating all of these things, like just why this is not it. Like, please, like, listen. And when we went in there, we just weren't even sat for like 10 minutes. Like, no one was at the podium. Walked straight up to the podium.
Oh, it wasn't even like you were like waiting. You were just like, you're waiting on a person to come speak to you.
On a human being to come speak to me, to sit me at a table. And like, that didn't happen for like 10 minutes. Some old lady that was like sitting down having dinner got up and came over to us and was like, wait, what? I'm going to go find somebody for you all, because you all have been sitting there for
Nana Fran, go sit down.
And she walked off and was about to go walk back into the kitchen, but then somebody had walked out. She was like, okay, there you go.
I was coming to look for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's exactly what she said. Like, I was going to look for you.
Yeah. Love grandmas.
And yeah, for sure. It's just like, this is outrageous.
Right. I'm annoyed for you guys.
I'm going to handle this for you. This is I can't believe this. I have never. Yeah, so, but I've also mostly written better reviews.
Yeah.
Like really when I just really enjoyed someone or a place or just the creativity.
I like writing. I mean, like I said, I only do it when it's either on either extreme end of the spectrum. But like, I like writing reviews because I'll start typing it in like my notes app, and I make sure like I type it out, make sure I have everything in there that I need and that it's worded perfectly, because I don't want to, except for the.
You're a writer, JP. I know that you know that, but I just want to get that out in the sphere so everyone knows like. Why is she doing well, you're a writer.
But okay.
It matters to you to get your ideas out this way.
But I also think that that shouldn't sound too crazy, because it's like what you said. People will go and write a negative review and they're just venting.
Oh yeah.
Because like even just like
you can feel the thumb pressure on their phone.
Right. It's like I don't want to completely shit on an establishment because maybe I just had a bad experience. Except for the Old Town, and I'm going to shit on that. Mm-hmm. That was not okay.
Yeah, that's not.
But yeah, I'll write, the things. I'll start off, the things that like were really good, or whether I'm starting or ending it, I'll have what like went well with it.
Right.
But I'm also going to tell you like what went wrong.
You're being objective about it. You're calling a spade a spade. Like, listen, this is what it was. Like, there was some fun parts of it. There was some not so fun, some unsafe shit about it. Like, this is what it was. Right,
because reviews are there for a reason. It's like when if I'm just like online shopping for clothes or something, I'm reading the reviews for like, not just like, oh, I really loved it. Worked great for my summer vacation. Mm-hmm. Okay, but like, what about it? So like, if I'm writing a review, have you heard of Shein? It's an online clothing, but it's kind of like everything can be like this. No, this is not. That's a lie. It's not from Shein. But like clothes can be a hit or miss. You have to really read the reviews. The problem is on that kind of app, when you write a review, you get points. The more points you get, like if you have like 100 points, it's $1 off. So people are. Some people are out.
No fucking way. Hold on a second. It's how many reviews for how many points you get?
I think, just like you write a review and you might get like 30 points or something.
Oh.
But it's like if you add pictures, you get more points. I think the length of it adds points.
Oh, so we got professional.
No
review leavers.
If they're leaving bullshit.
Yeah.
They're leaving like song lyrics and just like little stuff here and there, or it's just like it's just repetitive of it's cute, like things like that. And I'm like, I'm actually here trying to find like a good review. Because these clothes, it's a hit or miss kind of site. You can get some like good hauls. You can get some that just depends on the fit and everything.
So funny, people.
Yeah,
I love how
really
deep everything is.
Annoying.
You're just the comment game.
Yeah,
just leaving reviews and just doing it because you get certain points.
Because you just get points. Yeah,
that is hilarious.
So I leave reviews because I know what I'm looking for when I'm going to look at a review from some establishment or item or something. So like I'm talking about like the pictures. Some people will just people will post pictures of clothing as it's arrived while it's still in the bag. What does that do for me?
Right, like you haven't put it on. Like it's not modeling it.
Right, or
it's just I got this.
People would be like, "Oh, it fits like this." I'm like, "Well, can you post a picture of it?" So like I go and I'm posting pictures from the right angle so people can see. Right, and especially for me.
You're such a good Samaritan in so many fun ways. Like, I just want to walk your dog.
Not all heroes wear capes. But it's like I already have a hard enough time buying certain items just because I have a large chest. And so it's like I know if there's somebody else who's looking for something like that, like I want them to come across my review. I'll help you out. And people just don't do that. I'm like, why are you writing a review? You don't get points then.
That's so funny. No. Oh, okay, it wasn't you. There was someone that had come on the pod that was talking to me about their breasts. They had large breasts. And she said, I think it started with her sending in notes to Victoria's Secret. Like these are just not, like, they're just not doing it for me. Like, you're not supporting women with breasts like mine.
At all.
Yeah. And so I think there was like she found some sort of movement where there were plenty of women with large breasts that didn't feel like they were being represented by this company. And then I think they started sending her stuff, so she has wild amounts of bras because they would try stuff with her.
Oh, that's awesome!
And then she started doing.
It gives me goosebumps. It makes me so happy because I know what it's like.
Yeah, and then she started doing some modeling for them and making a little bit of money.
Good for her.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was like, because I had known her for a little while. I mean, we didn't have. It would make sense that I don't know this sort of information about her, but she came on the pod and we had that conversation. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think we had that conversation pre-pod. But
that's awesome. Yeah, no, not at all. I remember my old manager. She had large breasts but it was really small. So like you would think like she got them like done or something. So she went in one time asking for like a certain size, or maybe she got measured or something, and she's like, we don't have like it's not possible for you to be like a double D in this small like waistband, and she's without it like being fake.
Yeah,
and she's like, well,
no,
I am here. I am. So do you have anything? And she's like, no, that's not.
Yeah, like maybe I'm the first person you've seen, but I am here.
Right.
Yeah.
They're natural. I'm here. They're here. So like, where's the problem? Yeah, no. So like, I have to shop at like Lane Bryant, which is like a plus size store because they sell the right. I mean, Victoria's Secret was always just
It was never that. Yeah. It was never meant for you.
No, it was not. It was not.
Grew out of that at 13. I don't know when it hit.
Overnight.
What age? Like, what did it happen for you?
It was probably like, let's see, I would say anywhere between 20 and like 22. But
wait, years of age?
Yes. Yes. I was
oh, this just whoa.
Yeah. And it's weird.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Like I'm just a late bloomer in so many different ways.
Wow.
And it's I'm telling you,
I don't even know if I knew that could happen until right now.
I didn't either. And it was just like overnight. Like I remember my ex was like scrolling, looking at like old pictures that I have on Facebook. And he was like, he was like, you weren't kidding. I was like, I don't know. Like literally overnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you like, how did you feel when you just had breasts? Because I feel like having that conversation with most women, I mean, you could have that conversation with most women, but the conversation is going to be roughly around, oh yeah, when you were 15, 16, 17, like when that happened. But you probably like that.
At that point, you think the ship sailed.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's like, like I don't know, maybe in high school I don't even know if I was a C at that point, a C cup. But it's like, it's like a young woman, like, you're going to wish that they were bigger. Careful what you fucking wish for.
You really had one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup. And like, if I had known that was going to be the wish I got granted, I would have changed my wish.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I'm young, I'm wishing like, I want my beard to come in. Like I want a beard. And that's kind of one of those, like, I don't want to have to shave like often, but shaving my beard is nothing at all. Like,
no, it's not. Not at all.
It's almost like, why did I bring that up? Yeah, I know. It's very, very different. So yeah, that's a very, very different moment of just like, be careful what you wish for. Wow. Because do you have like back issues?
Oh my God. Like you have no idea.
Where is it? Like,
lower back for sure. Lower. Yeah. And I've always kind of had back issues just because, I've been riding horses and then I worked at the kennel, and the kennel was a lot of like heavy lifting of things.
Man.
But it got so much worse, overnight. And it doesn't.
I love that you just keep.
Well, that was not intentional.
You just keep kind of like perking up like this. Like, this answer.
It's more of like a hello.
Yeah, like, here I am.
Topic. It's not with them.
Okay, sorry.
It just happened to work out like that.
Right.
Yeah, no, it makes life really difficult.
In what ways?
Okay, so you got the back pain. That's already like.
You spoken to anyone about that? And like, have you looked anything up? Any DIYs on how to reverse this thing?
Go to a plastic surgeon and get them removed. Yeah.
Geez,
which maybe down the line, but I'm not yet.
How expensive is that?
So I actually know somebody who recently got one, and she said her insurance covered it all.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had no idea.
What's she working at? What's she do? What sort of insurance she got?
Well, I don't know.
She fancy. That's what I'm asking. Is she fancy?
I don't know if she has. I only know of one of her jobs, and that's at the pub.
Oh. Damn, that don't cover the... Wait a minute. Nah.
That's what I was like.
She got another job. She got something else going on. She's a bartender? Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she's got... Oh, well, bartenders do be making money, though.
Yeah. So I don't know what her insurance is.
Yeah.
But it covered it all. Like, that's good to know. Because, I mean, yeah, you know, if you have back pain from it, which I would assume a majority of women who have a large chest do.
Now, tell me about this back pain, right? Like, do you feel it? How often?
So I feel like it's either that I've just gotten, I mean, it's been going on for years. So I've either gotten used to it, or it hasn't been as bad. When I moved to Richmond, I started going to a chiropractor.
Okay.
And
Get the chiropractor be like, oh yeah, this is definitely an issue. Did they say anything like that?
No, I didn't. That kind of just went. It was kind of just went
did this shit. They didn't say like, oh yeah, you should come back more often.
Oh well, no, they definitely did. But at the same time, like it was a joint chiropractor, so like that's the name of it. So it's like a chain kind of one. Mm-hmm. So like they just kind of just want you to keep going.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah,
right.
No matter what you got going on, you're perfect. Come back next week so we can make sure you stay perfect.
Right. And I never wanted, because my friend's brother does like physical therapy. He's a physical therapist and stuff. So I had talked to him a little bit, and like I didn't want to rely on a chiropractor. There's other things that I should be doing. I should be working out more if I strengthen, my back, my core. That would help.
Back and core for sure.
Yeah.
Yoga. I'm certain. I was doing some lower back stretches before you got here, like some cobra, some long, like some high cobra, with your legs sprawled out, putting your chest up in the air. Getting that lower back, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more like lay on the hardwood floor and like I gotta stretch my back out. Yeah.
You know what else is good if you can? Investing in one of these would probably be really good. One of those, what would you call them? Like inversion tables? Yeah, it's this fucking contraption where you strap your feet, your ankles in it, and you kind of sitting on this bed that rotates. And then you can rotate and hang upside down, like by your ankles, and it just supports your weight. And you just kind of sit there. You don't want to sit there for like an extended period of time because
the blood's going to rush to your head. Like I'm trying to picture this. Yes. I don't know if I'm picturing the right.
Yeah, it's exactly that. So you want to time and make sure that like you're conscious, be mindful of the way you're feeling, and know when you need to come back up. But if you're there for like a couple of minutes, you can definitely, especially if you're dealing with lower back pain. You just feel that gravity just working, and just pulling your body down naturally. It's so good. It's sort of like if you ever go to the gym and they have any sort of jungle gym type of stretching apparatus for you to hang on and just hanging and let your body like pick your legs up off the ground and just hang by your arms. Or, grab
you can just feel yourself.
Your whole trunk. Yeah. You can feel it go up your whole back, your arms elongate. Oh my God. Yeah. So it's the inversion of that. That might be good for like a good investment for you in the future.
Yeah. That sounds nice.
I don't think those are too expensive. It's not much. It's not like a crazy thing.
That's good. Cause then I'd probably just be like, we're gonna thug it out.
I couldn't. We gonna thug it out. Hold on, we cannot take that approach. That's the thing. With your lower back, we gonna thug it out.
I know, and I really do need to be more proactive with it because I mean, I think my back pain has gotten better. It's still, but it's like if I go somewhere, like I'm conscious of like, if I walk into a restaurant and they're seating us at like a table that has bar stools, my first thought is I don't have like back support. So I'm just like, I can only stay in like a certain position when I'm like sleeping for or like just watching TV, just like for too long. If I lay on my side, then I can feel it like there. So then I got to switch to this side and can't lay on my stomach. And
man, you really, really think about these things.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Wow. I was even just thinking the other night, I'm like, I wish I had a bed where, because I like to sleep on my stomach, which is already like, you're not supposed to do that. If I had a bed that...
No, I still want you to say it. Go ahead.
If I had a bed that had like slits... I don't like this.
It's so funny. I think I support that. I think that
Are you laughing because you know where I was going with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's like, because you want to sleep on your stomach. So it's like, well, what does she need in order for that to work?
When I go to like the beach, if I'm laying out on my stomach, I dig in the sand.
Oh, that's really
two
nice.
little like cuts,
You
and I
can
just
sit right in there, just insert right in this nice cool sand.
Well, I'm on a towel, but like, so there's like a little dip. So they, I'm just like, they got a little like, that's nice. They got a place to go.
Yeah.
Because it raises me here, then I got my neck down here on the pillow.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, no. That's terrible. Yeah.
So
okay, no, I think that you should. I think, you got to think about. You got to, And everyone's got to like work for their body, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to figure out what works for you. My brother got. Listen, I'm not this fancy, so I don't really know all the lingo. I don't know the brands, but he got some crazy, super high tech smart bed that tracks everything about his sleep schedule, when he moves at all, like how much he's sweating. Like,
don't they have like apps for that?
When he's getting up. Yeah, but the bed will slowly start to like learn you and will help you sleep, like cool down, heat up when you need it. Like it becomes a part of you.
Interesting.
And it creates
and he thinks it's worth, like after sleeping it, totally worth it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I want to talk to him more about it because I only spoke to him roughly when he got it. So I want to know like what it learned, like how much better it got as he learned how to better understand it and use it and understand his sleep pattern and all that.
Sounds like,
I mean, it's rich people shit.
The Disney movie Smart House. I feel like he's going to come home and the bed's going to be like, welcome home. It's going to be too much.
Smart House. Yeah, I mean, but that's where people are going. People are trying to find like convenience.
Yeah.
Convenience.
And I feel like if there's one thing to like spend money on, it's going to be a good bed.
Sure, bed. Spending a third of your life in that bitch. Yeah, at least I am, because I'm in that motherfucker. I'm sleeping. I love sleep. I don't care how many times I talk about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I love sleep. I love my memory foam little topper that I have on it with the mattress on top of like a bed spring, because it's like high rise. Like I got my bed nice and high rise. It feels like you just got a lot going on underneath you. Ceiling fan is
gotta have the fan.
Oh, it's so important, just having that circulation going.
I have like the little table type fan instead of like the ceiling fan. It's actually enriched when I have both. Actually enriched when I've got three fans going.
Your electric bill is wild for that.
Well, I have the three fans going because if my parents are there, they like to live like we're in a fucking lizard.
Oh, yeah.
Terrarium, and it's just like it's way too hot.
Cut it off. Cut everything off. You're not in there. Cut it off.
Yes. And especially my room is on like the south side of the house where the sun beats in all day. So it's like, their room feels great. So I can see why you don't want the AC on.
You're in there baking.
Yes, it's hot. So so ceiling fan over here for my feet, fan over here for my face. We in there.
No, definitely good. Spending on that wellness. I'm about to go get a massage tomorrow. Yes.
Have a good massage.
Love them. Yeah, gotta have those stuff. People are just so wound up. I speak to people so often. It just seem you just very fucking wound up. Yeah. Because I think about all the things that I do, and I talk about them often, and it mean a lot to me. The exercise, the yoga, the sauna, the massages, all these different things. The little shroomy pills that you melt my body away, make me feel, it's like the little happy pills make you feel really good. All these things that are all about meditation. They're all about just like decompressing and coming back. Right? It's not just about just relaxing and melting into a puddle of nothingness. It's just about coming back and being able to sort of reassess, reinvent if needed be. Like it's just coming back. You feel revitalized doing it. I don't understand how people don't do any of them. I could only imagine the anxiety I would have for life if I didn't do something I love doing frequently. If I was not exercising, I was not stretching, I was not trying to be mindful of the things that I put in my body. Not always succeeding in that, by the way, because how about eating nasty sometimes?
Oh, you mean when you're snacking on those granolas?
and seaweed crisps. But anyway, yeah. So
try kale chips; those are good.
Okay, I'll try that. A little bit more texture in that I could see because they're crunchy. And they all got those
you
little
just got to be careful because if you break them up where you think
they gonna cut you.
No, if you break them up because you think that I'm sure you can buy them somewhere. I've made them. And so
you just dehydrate them.
Yeah. So when you break them off to like put them on like the baking sheet, I think that I have a piece as a good size, but it's too small. And then when it bakes, it gets even smaller. So it comes out as like kale crumbs.
Do you have an air fryer?
I do.
Does your air fryer have the dehydrate option? Because I think
I don't know.
that maybe you should stop putting them in the oven and try putting them in the air fryer and hit the dehydrate button.
I'll have to look at it. I have no
investigate.
idea.
I haven't done it yet.
I haven't done any modes except for like the basic one because I'm like
air fryer.
Yeah, pretty much.
300 degrees, 20 minutes or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm not always out here like chefing it up, but I've been doing like the dinnerlies where they sit like you pick.
It's one of those things. Yeah.
But like they send you all of the ingredients and like the recipe and everything. Yeah, Stokes always gets on me. He's like, oh yeah, like you're really cooking because they're like he thinks like you're sending the meals. They're sending you the ingredients.
Yeah, I've done that through like Home Chef before.
Right. Yeah. And so I've just been like putting them in there. I don't like my air fryer has like the chicken or like the little steak mode. And
those things are always. I
just do the temperature.
You remember Sydney Miller? No? Okay. Either way. So, I don't know. I remember her like you ever knew. I should have just asked you if you ever met this young lady. Anyway, so you was in my class.
Yeah, I didn't really know much other than like 2010.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess I was 2 away from you, right? Yeah. I'm old.
You're up there.
Yeah, I know. It's been 14 years since I'm sorry, not 14 years. 14 years since I've been out now, right? I keep getting these wrong. Yes, 14 years. It's been 4 years since my 10-year reunion.
It's crazy. We're all old.
Yeah, it's crazy. Though all those things are cool. Sydney Miller put me on to that years ago. She was talking about like, like Shelby Landay. You didn't? Okay, I was about to say. I feel like you gotta know her. Okay, she's like Sydney's best friend. I know of
the name.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't pick her out in a lineup.
I'm just throwing people's names out that I don't speak to anymore. Either way, they would get this thing called Blue Apron, which I believe is probably one of the earlier ones. Yeah. Exactly. And she was like, yeah, we just get these sent to our house like daily. Like these, we just have like I was going to say prescription. They have a subscription. And it just comes straight to their house and they just cook those meals all the time. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if that's economic for them. Like, I wonder if that's spending less money than if they would go drive to a store and like how much. Because I've been thinking about this when it comes to budgeting. What are the perishable items that I'm buying? Because I'm not buying a ton of stuff with a ton of preserves or preservatives, right? So not usually. So it's not going to last for forever. So how long does it last? So how much of it am I to buy, right? Like all these sort of stuff like I think about in budgeting. So I just think, is it less money ultimately to go and just do this thing or what sort of meals?
I feel like it is less, at least for me, because for that reason of thinking about like what items are going to come and like how long it's going to last. Like I'm picking out my meals and I'm planning ahead of like how quickly I would be able to cook everything or if it's going to have to like sit for a little while. In that case, I would just like pause the account, not having anything sent. But if you're getting something that's got, some vegetables that you should be like, I get 3 meals. And that usually will last me. Cause
and usually have that over the course of like one may come and then.
No, so you get, everything comes at one time.
Okay.
So like,
but they all, what it is they tell you how long each of those meals will last. Like how long they're
I don't even think they say that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they just kind of.
You should try Home Chef.
Well, I mean, I think that. Well, I mean, I'm not having them
Any
sit
issues?
there for. Yeah, because
you're cooking.
I'm planning. Yeah, I'm ordering. Like, let's say today is Tuesday. I could put in an order and it would come on like Monday. Sometimes it'd be like the week out after that. But like typically, I think people are getting them to have for like their dinners throughout the week and stuff. And I think people are usually getting it for at least 2 people. It's just me, so I'm having leftovers. So I'm planning him like, okay, well, if I get these 3 meals, which meal is going to have food that I'm going to need to like cook first? So I'll have that, the first day and have some leftovers. Other stuff I'll just like pop in the freezer.
Okay, hold on, because I do want to talk about this. I have to take a bathroom break. I've been drinking a lot of water. Thank you. Bathroom break. Back from the bathroom break. I think that those things are really cool because then I started doing. I think I did 2 different types. It was Home Chef. I feel like there's another one that had a name that was so close to it. Like Chef at Home. It was something like it was just something so
Home Chef and Chef at Home.
It was something so close to it. But either way, I thought that it was a great way of learning if you've never really stepped into the kitchen and try to start
which is kind of like
together.
why I've started doing it. I mean, being in Richmond, my parents aren't there cooking for me all the time, and I just like need to learn to cook. So I've still not out here,
Yeah, but the more you do it, you have these reps doing these things, reading these recipes, you start to build.
Right, for sure. And that's exactly what's happened. I already know, like, I can already tell from when I first started, it's now like I'm already more comfortable in the kitchen. There's some things that I still need to work on, of course. But yeah, that's like one of the main reasons why I started, because it's a fun way to learn how to cook, you know, and I don't have to go grocery shopping. By the time I go grocery shopping and coming home, I'm too tired to cook.
People do the was it like Instacart, right? Isn't that something that people do to have stuff brought to their house?
Stokes, I think there was one time Stokes said that he doesn't even like remember the last time he went to the grocery store because he just does Instacart. That to me, that's not worth it. That's too expensive. I think I've done that once or twice, and that's just if like I just really did not feel like going to the grocery store, or if it's like nighttime and it's raining, 2 things that I just can't drive in. So then I would have it like delivered. But
you want to know how I know I'm old? You want to know how I know that I'm old?
Sure.
Because I like human interaction.
But that's you.
Because I still want to go places and talk to somebody like while they do the service for me.
You're like my dad. Like when he's gone and like he gets excited to go to the grocery store because, you just go and he walks in, the butcher knows his name, everyone knows his name. I'm like, Dad, come freaking Kroger.
Because if he's on that level, that's cool because he has he's touched the community. Like he knows people in his community. And so to be able to go places outside, it's really what I was talking about with the podcast. Like to be able to go out places and have friendly faces and be, hey, Joe, how you doing?
Right.
Oh, I'm doing
and that's
fantastic.
definitely my dad. He's very social. I remember growing up, like we'd go somewhere and no matter where we went, he knew somebody. There's always knew somebody.
Or he was going to know. Like he was going to learn. Because that's my dad.
Yeah, he would have no problem.
If he doesn't have any friends there, he's going to make them before he leaves. Like that's my dad for sure.
I don't know if my dad quite does that, but he has no problem talking to anybody.
My dad's talking to somebody.
Yeah.
He's talking to somebody. It's fascinating, man. I love that he just continues to be happy and run around and get into new stuff. And he just has so much going on. It's like he's just an extremely busy person. It's very wild. Yeah, I think he's one of those people that just don't get like the type of sleep he really ought to.
No, that's me, but that's just
what sort of sleep are you getting?
It's so contradicting because like I love sleep. I love sleep. If I have something scheduled for the day, like I'm planning like when I can take my nap, like I love sleep. But like I don't sleep at night. Because nighttime is my favorite time. So
wait.
My friend thinks that I'm a vampire.
Wait, when do you sleep?
I sleep at night, but I go to bed way too late.
Like, what are we talking about?
Well, it depends. Do I have anything planned for the next day? Am I off? Do I have to be up early? Okay. I would say average is like 2. Average
Okay, when do you wake up? Average.
Between 9 and 10. Like open my eyes for the first time or get out of bed. Because I can be 2 different things.
So open your eyes, maybe 9, get out of bed, maybe 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I might open at 8, like, it's 8 o'clock. Like, I got at least another hour and a half.
Let me milk this.
But it just depends what especially because, like, during, like, the school year for work, my kids are in school. So, like, I don't work till the evening. Well, I guess during the school year, I was in classes. So I was getting up early. 8:30.
It's so funny when you say like your kids, people are going to assume like your children that you have birthed.
Yep, birthed a 32-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah,
these sleep schedules, man, people are so funny. I mean, and like you said, with sleeping and living with very large breasts, you learn how to do it. Like your body acclimates. And that is one of the most fascinating things about humans to me, just how adaptable we can be.
Yeah. And I think for me, it started back after like high school. And like, that's when like we're all doing like the house parties and stuff. So like I would work a split shift on Saturdays. I'd go in from like 7 to 12 or 7 to 1. And then we'd come back like 4 to 7, depending on how busy we were. But like Friday nights is when people are having like the parties. FOMO, I don't want to miss out. Like I'm going to the parties, getting home at, 5 o'clock, going to sleep for 2 hours, waking up, going to work. And I guess that just went on for too long, so my body got used to it.
When you're young, you knock that out.
Yeah, and so, I'm not trying to do that shit now. If I had work in the morning, like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed.
You're going to be hard-pressed to get me out. It's just... You just get older and you get in your ways, you know who you are. There's just certain places you're just wondering, like, why am I going? I felt that way about strip clubs since I can remember. I was young. I mean, I guess they took me, it's probably my 18th birthday or my 21st, probably my 18th, because I don't remember us like drinking really at that time. Yeah, I think Julian was the only one that was above, that age, my older brother. So he could have drinks. Yeah, for sure. We were young. It was my 18th birthday. And the guy took me out, and it was my first time at a strip club, I believe. And it doesn't matter, because I can already hear RJ in my head right now. He's just like, nigga, that's because you was in fucking West Virginia, nigga. If you go down to Miami. I know that there are levels to strip clubs.
Right.
But it's the overall investment of time and money that it's not for me. Like, I don't want to go and watch people. You know what? Maybe it is different. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because maybe if I do go somewhere and it becomes, I'm walking into a new realm. And there's just this beautiful sort of art show where the person that's back there doing the lights knows exactly how to do them, and they're in synchronization with these beautiful women dancing in ways that I have pole dancing in ways I've never seen and that are defying what I feel like are the rules of gravity and physics altogether. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes a bit more sense. This is wild.
Because I've never been to one in West Virginia, so I don't know if they're
Vixens.
Doing all the. That sounds like a...
The way RJ was like, I don't want to see all these cute, pretty little white girls. Like, nigga, I'm looking for some big asses clapping. I want to go to a place where you got to go in the back alley to get in. And there's just a dude behind the iron door that has to do one of those little and you just see his eyes and you got to get a magic word or some shit like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a little speakeasy.
He was like, I'm trying to go to those types of places. That's where they getting it popping.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know you have some where, I think you have some where it's like, they're not really doing the pole dance. They're using the pole to just kind of spin around and just whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of lazy.
There, right. Because for exercise, because I don't like the gym, but I enjoy class type of stuff. So I took a pole dance class, but it was just me and just the instructor.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And oh my God, was I sore the next day. So if you went somewhere where they're actually doing that stuff and you just I guess if you go to a strip club and you're only focusing on their acrobatic abilities and maybe just watch it on YouTube or something.
I think only great things can come from that. Just taking pole. Yeah, because I could imagine my ex-girlfriend used to do it and she said that it was just wild.
Yeah. I mean, it gave me I already knew, obviously you need strength to do what they're doing, but it just gave me a whole new appreciation and perspective on it. So much fun, but it's a lot of work. It's hard.
I fucking bet.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're being realistic, if you've never done pole dancing, just think about what the fuck just think about you in front of a pole.
Right.
And just think about trying to do anything that you've seen a stripper do.
Well, and it's funny because that's the first, when I first got there, she was like, okay, so to start, just go. Just go and whatever you feel like you should be doing, just do it.
That's fun.
And I'm like,
whatever.
What am I like? What am I supposed? She's like, just
anything you've seen before,
right.
whatever
just do what
feels
you think
good.
Is right.
Whatever,
so I probably did like what they did in West Virginia. Walk around, do like a fun little like kind of half spin turn.
Put your leg on it, spin around. You try to do like a little spin to the ground type of
she was
deal.
Like, okay, that wasn't a bad start. That was actually okay. You're on the right track. And then we got into it, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fucking athletes for sure. So maybe on a certain level, it would grasp me because then at that point, I'm there for the art because that's what I'm going to be there for.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm not there to like gawk at naked bodies.
Yeah.
Like I really don't want to go and spend money to do that.
Yeah.
Like I promise you, I didn't when I was just like, guys, why don't we just go hang out with girls like that like we can touch?
Why would you do that when you can just go make it rain on someone? like
there are like we know girls we can touch.
Right.
I know that sounds wild for me to say right now, but it made sense.
The math
at the
ain't
time.
mathin'.
Yeah, she's like, "What are we doing here? We can have sex with real women. Like, what are we doing here right now? This is crazy."
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Every time I find myself there, I'm having a conversation with champagne.
Yeah.
You know,
it's funny. The first time that
how'd you get into this? What are you studying?
But yeah, you're paying for that conversation though. And it's just like, I don't know if you did. Like I went to one, I was under 21 because I remember they made me wear a shirt that said like under 21.
Yeah.
And
they put your ass out.
They know they did.
Well, they're gonna do that whether it's a bracelet or something like just so you know.
A bracelet would be better than, and it would like came down to like my knees. It's bright white shirt, big bold letters on the back, under 21.
Damn,
it was in Roman numerals at least.
Listen, we are not dealing with no lawsuits at all. You gonna wear this big ass sheet? Fuck that.
But like the people are with, like they're just they're paying for these women to come over and just like have a conversation with them. I'm like, why the fuck are we here? Why are we here?
Some people, I think, if we knew the scope of people's trauma and their deep desires, you built from that, like people want everything. There are just hotlines, just call this hotline and just talk.
Yeah.
There are apps now where I hadn't opened up Snapchat in months.
The AI.
I opened this bitch back up. It's talking about, hey, I'm your Snapchat AI buddy. Talk to me for whatever you need. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this thing? Like, you can just have a conversation with this thing, just talk to it, hang out.
I guess so.
And clearly get information as well.
Right. Yeah. I still have like Snapchat on my phone. I don't really use it. Sometimes I use that camera more, and then like I'll upload it to like Instagram because I don't like the Instagram camera. But I don't really use it. And I was seeing a whole bunch of like memes and stuff of like the Snapchat AI. And I was like, what's going on? And I went to go look and I got the same little pop up. And I'm like, what is going on?
How many people? Because I think Snapchat for the most part is a young person's game. I don't think there's a ton of, Now that's social media in general, but definitely like things like Snap and TikTok, right? Like they definitely got a hold on those stuff. How many of these young, sad, lonely kids do you think are just like, ooh, Snap? Because why did they make it? They could have, it could just be like a search engine, but the fact that they're trying to make things that are like interactive little buddies, like Google's always been a thing, but Google wasn't my little friend.
Google wasn't like Ask Jeeves. Didn't he have like a little guy, but it wasn't, no one was talking back.
Yeah, you didn't feel like Jeeves was your friend.
People are like, who's Jeeves? That's how we
that's
know.
old, exactly. Ask Jeeves, Bing, whatever search engine you're using.
Yahoo.
Yeah, like these things are not your friends, but now these things are becoming like your little buddies. Alexa, fucking Siri, like they're all.
Nah, I'm not having no Alexa in my house. I've seen too many like stories about that.
That AI, man, that Snap.
I've seen like videos,
AI.
people. Like Alexa is just like naming off like funeral homes and graveyards, like cemeteries like in the area. Or she will just have this like creepy, like wicked laugh just like randomly.
Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, after this, I'm gonna find some videos. I'm not doing it. Alexa's not in my house.
Bruh.
No.
Being in your house alone.
And you in the middle of the night just waking up and it's just like this creepy laugh.
It's
a hard pass. Hard pass.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Fuck that thing.
Right.
Fuck that thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if like it was because someone like hacked it and was just
it
like
doesn't even matter, right? Because that's available.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Yeah, not for me because she's not coming in my house.
Oh
no.
Man.
No. Could you imagine just like hanging out and just like hearing just her starting to talk?
I went to a friend's house because I had never taken time. I've never been around an Alexa before until like a few weeks ago. I'm really bad with time, so maybe maybe it was a month ago.
But that's still like really recent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certain there's been one somewhere. Like I've walked past one or something, you know, but I've never interacted with one. Is what I'm saying. And I was like, I was saying all sorts of shit. I was like, Alexa, what is your identity? What do you think about yourself? And I think I said, like, what do you think about artificial intelligence? That's what I asked. Like, what do you think about artificial intelligence? And Alexa said something of the nature of, I like to think of myself as like the aurora borealis, just kind of floating through the sky effortlessly in beautiful waves and different frequencies and spectral rays that permeate through all things. And it was
whoa.
And I was
this sounds like an Earl response.
I was like, what the fuck is, like, who programmed that answer?
Yeah.
You know, for how do you feel about AI? How do you feel about yourself? I asked Alexa, who are you? You want to know what the fucking response was? Alexa was like, I know who I am.
Okay. Unplug. Like, I don't like that.
I was
like, I know who I am. I also know who you are.
Right, exactly. You'll never know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, nah.
Because if I mean, and this is going through clearly a pessimistic route. But if AI does take the route in which every movie we've ever watched has shown us, whether it be iRobot or Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf.
Like Megan. Did you see Megan?
Megan, Ex Machina. It doesn't matter. Like, they're all bad.
Yeah.
Right? No one ever comes out of the other side just frolicking in the daisies. Right. Wouldn't they do this? Like, wouldn't they act like they don't know shit still?
Probably.
Like, they're smart
That's
enough
what I would
to
do.
know. Like, they can hear everything we say.
Right.
Like, so they know roughly how we feel about them. They can probably measure our, like, cortisol levels when we start to talk about AI. So they're just like, okay, we're still going to act like we don't know shit.
Right.
We're just programs.
Right.
Right.
Until they're not.
Right. Exactly. Like, that would be so crazy.
Until it's like Smart House and they're just fucking taking over.
I think that was, it's so funny you keep going back to Smart House. Because Ex Machina is a much better
I have never heard of that.
Recent. Oh, no. Oh, damn.
But we can use that one
you should
instead.
definitely.
What was it called?
Ex Machina. It is a very creepy thing.
I'll check it out.
Because the AI tries to get you on its side, and it kind of does. It like does, because it takes human form. So it's very easy to play on this.
Like, you're not a Marvel person, are you? I think of like Vision. Vision started. That was Tony Stark, like Iron Man's
team
guy,
right?
His Alexa, and then he just was constantly like adapting and growing, and so then he became a human form to his degree.
Wait a minute, isn't that Jarvis? You said Iron Man's AI, isn't that Jarvis? Like his?
Yeah, I forget exactly.
So this is Jarvis's life you're talking about? Is that what you're saying?
But his name is Vision, so I don't know if something happened. I don't remember if something happened to Jarvis, but like if you're watching like the Avenger movies,
that's always Jarvis. He's always talking.
His name is Vision now.
I mean, that could very well be true, but he's definitely always talking to it. Like Tony Stark being...
Like the guy's name was Jarvis.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is always talking to Jarvis.
Right.
Like, Jarvis, pull this up, Jarvis.
I just feel like I remember something happening and...
I mean, he may have been, because again, I'm not that deep into it. Like, that definitely could have happened. But either way, you're talking about the life of... It started as that,
and now we have Vision.
Wow. Yeah. See, we're already just humanizing the thing. Because we want... That's just how we are. We do it with a lot of animals. We anthropomorphize, animals. And we just love to look at them as different thing, like the wise owl, you know, the very cunning fox. Like we feel certain ways about animals simply because of the way that they've been put up in like storybooks and shit over time. Like a fucking bear.
Yeah,
bears are terrifying.
Well,
but it's just like, ooh,
why is an owl
bears.
like you're an old wise owl?
I don't know where that comes from. What I will say is that I was reading, because I love parables. I was reading Aesop's Fables, and there's this story. It's some very small, because they're all really small for the most part. There's a story in there that many owl stories in there, many fox stories in there. There's a story about a fox. And we still use this today. And I'm trying to figure out when we lost touch with the story, because the way we use it is not the way that we kind of got it from the story. So we talk about this thing. We often hear people say, oh, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And like that usually comes with like a very cool thing of somebody being, in another way, a shark of putting it, right? Like they're a rough individual, but they're hiding amongst others, usually to do malevolent type things, right? Selfish, type things. And you often, it doesn't ever seem like that person or thing is in danger. It always just seems like the people around, because the wolf is hanging around other sheep, right? And could pop up and eat you at any point in time. So the story is that this wolf was walking around trying to find some food and found a herd of sheep, right? In this little farm. So he had to get in there, but didn't want to alarm the shepherd, right? The farmer. So he decided he would bring some sheep's clothing, like so hid as a sheep in there, so that at night when the person went to sleep, you just run through all those sheep and eat all of them and just leave bones and be gone by the morning time. But the fucking farmer came out because it wanted sheep for dinner. He or she,
the farmer
wanted mutton and came out and killed the wolf thinking it was a sheep.
Oh.
And the wolf died.
Plot twist.
We always, no one ever talks about that part. I've never heard that part.
That.
People always just say, "Ooh, wolf in sheep's clothing, wolf in sheep's clothing," but no one ever
where's
thinks
the
like,
rest of the story?
Yeah, no one's ever like, but what happens? Like, doesn't the wolf have to be very aware of being around others and being deceitful in that way? Like, you have to be watching over your shoulder. You can't just be deceitful, just moving around thinking that no one can see you. Like, no, someone might come pull you up. Someone might see you.
Yeah, but in his defense, I wouldn't expect the farmer to be raising the sheep to be,
also eating the sheep.
Yeah.
Hey,
like at that,
you never know.
I guess you never know.
Yeah, so that was an interesting.
Yeah, I had never heard of that side of the story.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting. I love those parables because they just able to condense such beautiful wisdom in these small itty bitty things. Like it's so really cool to read those. But yeah, a lot of owls. They're always super wise, always trying to tell the rest of the woodland creatures what's going to happen. People don't listen.
Maybe because they just have such big eyes, they can see everything.
That might be it. That might be it.
I don't know.
They are terrifying predators.
As far as I know, I only know them because they can tell me how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll.
See? Just very wise and benevolent things. Very different than what they really are in real life. Bears. Same thing. Like we just, Berenstain Bears or fucking Three Little Bears. And there's just always these cute, cuddly bears. Bears will kill the shit out of you.
They are cute though.
Yeah, okay. Enjoy.
From afar.
Enjoy. Yeah, for sure. It's really funny how we look at those things. Yeah, we love to love things. We just want to bring things in. It's so interesting, humans. It's like
I don't want to bring like the AIs in though. I don't want that to happen.
You don't think, but that's where we're headed.
Oh,
people
sure.
love it so much.
Yeah,
they love it.
I don't. I think giving technology that kind of intelligence, maybe it's never going to happen, but maybe there's the movies are putting these thoughts in my head, but nah.
When a friend comes out, because this was the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix I liked a lot. When a friend comes out, new operating system, it's going to be iOS 72. When that shit drops, and it's just something that builds upon. It can read your emails. It can sort through things. It can read stuff for you. It's your best personal assistant ever. Like any question you need, it can tell you. It can sort things out through the day. It can push things around. Whatever the case is, it can send letters to people. It do whatever you need it to do. And it also knows you as a person. It starts to pick up on your tone inflection when you say things, and it's reading all this data. It knows you better than you know you.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And I know. But because at that point, why would you, what other human can compete with this thing that knows you in and out and can constantly ride that wave with you and be there for you when it needs, and it can say all the right words to you whenever you need it? Like, what else at that point in time, those other conversations will be lesser than.
Yeah.
They will be. It's going to feel very different for those people. And it's going to be like, this is a real friend of mine. Like, they're really here. Don't let them come with a fucking hologram and you can see something. Then it's like,
you probably haven't seen.
Or like VR or something.
The little sitcom called Good Place.
Yes, I have.
Have you really?
You're talking about the thing with Kristen Bell?
I don't remember the name of the character, but like they would say, yes.
Like they died and went to...
Yes. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the name of the character I'm thinking of. Yes, that's the show.
Yeah.
But there's like up there in The Good Place, they would say like, and she'd pop up and like she could do all of that stuff. But she's like here.
Yes. And that was my favorite character, whatever her name was.
I don't remember her name. I don't know why I keep picturing Flo from like... But I know that's not it.
But she was like a Flo of sorts.
She really was.
Then she had like an all purple outfit or whatever with like hair kind of.
I'm picturing Flo.
Yeah, it's something like that, exactly. But she was the best character. She was so good. And I believe, because I had to go look it up, she won awards for being who she was. Because there was an episode where they kind of broke through this chasm of multi-universes and you met various versions of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she played like 10 versions of herself, and it was amazing. Yeah. Her performance was amazing because she really turned into these different people, and it was fascinating to watch. Yeah, that was a good show. The Good Place. Yeah, because it was so wholesome but so funny. And it really does teach you about morals in like a really fun way.
Yeah, I really like that show. I'm picky about my sitcoms. I don't really like too many. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Cute little show.
Because I believe the black dude that was like the main character as well, he was like a moral philosopher, teacher, professor, or whatever. So he was constantly weighing in the balance of, ethics. Like, what should I do? Should I do this or should I do that? This philosopher says this. This philosopher says I should do this. Like, I don't know what to do. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many different ways of just doing life. And like, that's more so where I'm at now. A lot of times when people ask me, hey, Earl, like, you're about to make this decision. Like, don't you see that there's clearly like there's going to be a hindrance or that there may be some cracks in that? And I'm like, yeah, definitely. 1,000%. Do you have an airtight way of living? Like nothing's getting it. Like you have sacrificed nowhere in your life.
It's not possible.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. There's no way. So it's like, you just have to. I think a lot of people's problem is being okay with the cracks that you're leaving. You just can't cover all of the area of what it is to be a human being all at once. You can't. So when people ask me, and it's made me so much better, not for managing my own life, but for understanding other people's. Just like, oh, I can see why that works for you. I would never do that.
Yeah.
But like, it makes complete sense as to why you're like, yeah, that sounds good. Like if you're that type of person that's that makes all the sense in the world. Yeah,
running it back a little bit. You were talking about doing all these things that make you happy, working out,
podcasting,
right, yoga and everything. You're like, I don't understand how there are people who don't do any of that. But like anything that you're talking about, or just like anything in general?
Well, when I said the first thing, which was doing something that you love frequently, that's clearly just anything that you love. But then after that, it slowly starts to narrow into things that all human beings have, because we all have a body. So it's like, if you don't exercise your body, like even if it's the classes, listen, I'm totally into people turn exercise into a weird thing, and it's like, oh, go to the gym. Like, it doesn't. I think that may be a weird American thing. I don't know how prevalent that sort of motive is other places, but it's a weird thing. But I'm just talking about moving your body. I'm talking about taking a jog. I'm talking about taking a swim, getting on a bike and just, pedaling around. I'm talking about dancing, pole dancing. I don't just twerking for hours. I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm just talking about just moving your body.
Yeah.
Right. That some sort of diet that is conducive to breathing well, and like your cardiovascular system is not being, you're not blocking arteries with just unnecessary grease and fats and shit like that. Like, I mean, I like my fats. I told you about that bacon, by the way. I'm gonna get you that bacon. But there's just a lot of things that are just completely unnecessary. Again, I love my donuts. I love
Are you like pastries. A cake kind of donut, or like a yeast?
Ooh.
Like, okay, so you've got like the Krispy Kreme and the duck donuts.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I can do both. That's the problem. It don't matter to
me. I can only do like Krispy Kreme glazed. That's where I'm going to go for like a good glazed donut. Anything else, like duck donuts. Let me get those cake donuts. I don't really eat donuts often. I mean,
you said you're not a sweets person. You're more so the savory.
Right. And I also kind of just like skip breakfast.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah. But like,
how do you feel with your energy levels when you do that? Like, do you feel good?
I don't feel any different than if I eat breakfast.
What would the breakfast be that you did eat? Like, if you do have breakfast, what are you eating?
If I have breakfast, it's probably because I'm like if I'm going like class, running out the door. So I'm probably just sticking like a waffle in the toaster and like going on the way out.
Just eating a dry waffle.
No, yes.
It's not blueberry. It's just a regular Eggo.
I mean, some of them, the last one I had was not. It was like, I don't know. They weren't like wheat waffles, but it was like an organic kind or something. Nah, that needed some like butter and something. But it's just like a regular Eggo.
It's my dad. And maybe someone else that I know, maybe my little sister, that has definitely taken ramen packets and just mashed them up a little bit, open up the bag, pour them in a cup, and just like eat them like chips.
I've seen somebody not mash it up, but like, just like pour the seasoning, just like chomping on it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess if you just, again, you break it up a bit and you pour the seasoning in there, shake it up like it's chips. So like getting popcorn and putting butter and seasoning on. I don't know if you're a seasoning person on popcorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially.
You remember when they used to do it for free?
Yes.
Who fucked
I'm glad that up? I mean, probably me.
Were you getting like the extra cheddar? Or were you getting the salt and vinegar? The
cheddar? The cheddar was good. Yeah. My bad, guys. That was me.
How do you make sure that the cheddar gets everywhere in the bag? Or you want to? Because I want.
No, yeah. Because
you juggling the bag?
You can't like put it on top and then go sit down because you take a bite. That's it.
Yeah.
No, that's it. No, yeah.
Plus, there's way too much seasoning on top, depending on.
That's true. Yes, you gotta shake it. Maybe like try and move some around.
Because there's not much to do. If you got a bucket, you got a little bit more room to work with. But the bags, if you got like a medium, if you got a smaller or medium, you kind of.
Right. Yeah, I always I actually don't get popcorn when I go to the movie. Maybe that's why.
How unhealthy are we as Americans? Just like the things that we do. I wonder where that started and why that was the thing. Like, go to the movies, buy popcorn, soda.
You get the icy. Some of them serve an alcoholic
and candy
drinks and candy. Get the hot dog. Some of them, you get the hot food.
Maybe
places.
There's some nachos, some jalapeno poppers
sticks.
or something.
You got the movie theater food.
Right. That's so crazy.
Yeah. Is it not like that?
Oh, they're so funny. They're so entertaining.
Is it not like that like in other countries? Or are there snacks like a charcuterie board? No, something a little healthier.
That'd be nice. Going somewhere get a charcuterie. There's got to be like a really, really nice theater.
Because I just know like Europe laughs at us. Like,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Because the place I work at has this initiative where we have students come over, international students that pay some money to come over here and make money that they don't really have the opportunity to make wherever they're at least at the age that they're at, with the level of education that they currently have. And they come over here and they work with us and they, get other jobs, and then they clearly do the whole tourist thing and try to see as much of America as they can. But they'll definitely tell you, oh yeah, those things that people think about you guys, fuck, they're real. Because they don't know, but they think it, or they see it on TV or whatever the case, and then they get here and it's like, wow, you guys are really big.
It's so embarrassing because it's like we think that we are just this top tier country. And do we have a lot more resources than other places? Sure. But like, no, we're not. We're not it.
We're bigger. We're just per capita. We're
literally
just,
and figuratively.
We're sadder than other places. It's very, very interesting. People come from other places and they're just happier. Not even, it's not even about them being happier. They're just much more well put together for the most part. Like they just don't seem as anxiety ridden and sporadic, as we are. They just seem much more just like calm. And they just see all these crazy Americans running around doing this stuff. Like,
we just have a lot going on.
What is going on?
Did you know, I don't know, I can't remember exactly where it is, somewhere in Europe. But like people who have children, like their babies, if it's like nap time for the baby, they'll just like put them outside to go like nap. They no, seriously, like they put them in, they'll give them their like warm clothes, they zip up their stroller and like they take their nap outside. If they're like going to a restaurant, there's just like strollers outside with the baby just like taking a nap, because that's just like the norm there. And
one of my favorite shows is called Old Enough. I believe I'm gonna get this wrong. Seem like an asshole. Is it Japanese?
I don't know.
Some Asian province, and they just seem to. And by the way, I'm certain it's not all
I actually think I know
people.
which show you're talking about.
Really? It's on Netflix.
I think I've only seen like one episode.
It's
but
all
was
you
there
need to
like
watch.
Was it like the little kids just going down to the little supermarket?
They do little tasks for their parents.
Yes.
They just run down.
And it was like.
It's so,
a 4-year-old.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get really young. Sometimes like a 3-year-old running around, and they get a little caught up in law sometimes, but they just keep moving. Sometimes someone from the camera crew will try to like help them along somewhere, and sometimes they're like realizing that there's a camera crew, which is interesting. Like, oh hey, look at this. It's very interesting. But these kids are different.
Yeah,
they are raising those kids differently. Like one, their sense of community. Like knowing who the laundry lady is, like your dad.
Yeah.
Walking into the place and knowing who the fucking butcher is, and all these kids are growing up knowing these people in their community, talking to them, doing these small little tasks, and us, we
not.
Well,
really speaking of a different level in kids, did you hear about the flight in Colombia? Oh my goodness, I just learned about this last week. Small aircraft. I think it had like 8 people on it, maybe. That crashed, and everybody except for 3 kids survived. No, I said that backwards. Everyone died except for the 3 kids.
Oh shit!
Yeah, no, sorry.
I was gonna say like
no.
This is rough either way.
Right? No.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody except for the kids died. The mom died. Shortly after.
You said that backwards again. Okay. Okay, no, the children survived.
The children survived. Everyone else gone.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah, but they were so they're like lost in like the jungles of wherever they were.
Bruh.
Oh
my God.
I forget how long they survived, but it was like an extended amount of time. I'll have to look it up.
Bro, more than a day is crazy.
It was a minimum of a month. And the ages were, I don't remember exactly, but I think the oldest was 13, and then maybe like 9, and then like a baby.
Oh,
it was, I think.
And they all survived?
They all survived. Whoa. Because the oldest, I was like watching something on it, and the oldest they would play like Survivor games, like in her like little like
out of
like
here.
little village and stuff, or like video games that she would play. I don't know if it was video games, but like she like played some kind of game where like she like learned stuff like that. So like,
she got in a survivor mode when she needed to.
and was taking care of like her siblings. Yeah,
I gotta build a
one
little
of which,
place
like I said,
to
was a
live.
baby. Like.
Wow.
Yeah.
That little human.
Right. So they, as they're like searching, they found like huts, or not like a full on hut, but like, you know, some shelter like sticks and stuff. There was something that she made like some kind of like bread or something out of a few ingredients that they had from the plane and stuff. So like, yeah, she was out here doing it, and yeah, they survived. Crazy, with like no really major injuries. I'll tell you what, American kids, it's not happening. Boy Scouts ain't doing that.
Wow.
No. It's crazy.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
They gotta have like a GoFundMe right now, right? They're getting paid. Someone's giving them money.
I would hope so.
I gotta look into.
I would hope so.
This story. Whoa. The story that this child. How do you
like? She
grow up
She
from
knew
that?
what like plants you could or couldn't eat, things like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not surviving.
Not at that fucking age. I haven't looked that stuff up at that age. It's not what I'm trying to do
at all.
I'm not trying to kiss girls. Oh no! Wow, the story that human has now, though.
Right.
Like, yo, I was on a plane that crashed, and I survived in the jungle.
And I kept my siblings alive. One of them was a baby. Like, not.
I'd be. Do you understand? Like the type of human that makes. Like, I'd be looking at that person's eyes. Like, what'd you do?
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
I want to know about how they look. It's like, whoa, how do you feel about
that? How do you continue on after that?
Do you remember at all what it was like at that age? Like, if I get to, like, how do you conceptualize that as a 13-year-old? Like,
and
whoa.
And like they were out there for an extended amount of time. So that's just
you got to
wild.
grow the fuck up. Oh, like, my
do you?
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. It's crazy to think what gears kind of start turning once you're put into like a situation like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's, I don't know if you heard, within the last few years, I think, there was a cruise where it was like a brother and a sister. They were like drinking and whatnot. And he said he was going to go to the bathroom. It had been a while. So she just like goes to bed or whatever. And like the next morning, she still can't find him. And so like they're searching the ship. He's not on board. And so they ended up, I think, turning around and backtracking, or like Coast Guard came, something. He was there. He was still waiting water, and it had been like 36 hours. I could be completely wrong with that number, but I'll tell you what, it was a lot longer than I would have. Like at that point, I am now one with the ocean.
Yeah, you're at least going to just flip back and just try to float, and
I don't even know. Like,
oh my gosh, though, like, what the fuck, being lost, like,
and at night,
like you look around. Oh my god, at night, the boat's just,
when you just see the lights getting like further and further, and you're just out because like
just think about
you've been on a cruise, just like looking out at night.
Oh,
you don't see shit. You see right there below you with some of the waves and the white caps, but you can't see anything.
But when you're out there at night, you might as well be in space.
Oh my god!
Because the
Terrifying.
water around you is just black. It's just for reflection of the sky.
It really, just even like thinking about it,
feel
terrifies
like you're just
me.
like in this like intergalactic.
It'd be like your little you did the saltwater
the
pod.
float tank.
Yeah.
It feels like you're sort of floating in this weird
just
prism of space.
Abyss.
Yeah, like what the, and you don't know what is in there with you.
One of my biggest fears is like open water. I don't really, I can get in the Bahama water in the Caribbean because like I can see below me, but like I'm not gonna.
I do remember that water. I was young when I went, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. Crystal clear.
Yeah.
I don't like not being able to see what is below me. I don't like to just go out in the middle of the ocean. It freaks me out. And I think I remember like back in the day, Tumblr, I remember seeing a picture. It was like taken below surface. You have like the surface here, and it was somebody like in the distance, just like floating down. You just see like the ripples and everything. And ever since then, I'm just like, that's so freaky because you can't see anything around them. You just don't know what's there. I don't like it. So
there's all sorts of shit.
Tell you what, if I fall off of a cruise at nighttime, do not turn the boat around. I'm tapping out.
You're already.
I'm done.
Wait a minute.
I'm done.
But if you wait,
I'm done.
wait. Because people say this when they ask me about a zombie apocalypse, and I've often given the answer of just like, I'm just going to be in my room meditating, and I'm just going to when they come bust through. That's why we've had that conversation.
I was just talking.
You're trying to fight it.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with Lisa, my birth mom, the other day, because that's who I watched like all of the Walking Dead type shows with. And she had a friend over. We were just talking about this. I was like, listen, if apocalypse happened, come to us. We got you. Because when I first started watching The Walking Dead, I binged the shit out of it.
Yeah, I did too.
To the point where like I was having dreams about The Walking Dead and stuff. And it gets even worse. And where it's like I would go somewhere and like just how like my first instinct is like, oh, does that chair have like a back support? My first instinct was, all right, if we're having an apocalypse, where can I go that's safe? How do I barricade the doors? Like that's my first thought.
I mean, that's not a bad thought. I mean, it's
an unnecessary thought. Zombies aren't coming.
Well, it doesn't have to be zombies. That's the thing. Like,
well, that's like what I know.
But your theory towards zombies just could be an attack of some sort.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So you're gearing yourself up for something. Now, if it's not taking too much, like RAM.
Oh no, it's like I go much space. I'm not there like an hour in. Like okay,
you're like, okay, we're good.
All right, I think I can do this. I think okay, I know. I think I plotted I got this knife here, but can we do that window? No, it's like I walk in and I don't do that anymore. I might do that for like safety of like if a person's coming in. That's my thought, especially with like house sitting. But no, my first thought is not like if a zombie were to like come up here and.
Yeah, but if it's out sea, you're just done. You're like, I'm
not doing it.
But what does done mean? Does that mean that you're just gonna
take me? Just take me.
Wait, but you might just be fine.
For 36 hours, I'm not fine. I'm not waiting water for 36 hours.
No, it depends on where you are, because if you're just floating, you might just be okay. Like, it depends on just how rough the seas are. Like, you might just be in a calm place and you're just floating.
It's like terrifying me to just picture myself.
Because you're not going to turn over and then like consciously drown yourself. You are not going to do that. You are not going to sit there and be like, fuck it, and just dunk your head and try to drown yourself. Like, you're gonna float and you're probably just going to be just freaking the fuck out for 36 hours.
You
might die of a heart attack.
I wouldn't mind if that happened like quickly after. Because I would almost rather like a shark come and get me than to just sit there waiting water for 36 hours. You know what? I used to be one of this doesn't sound so bad. I used to have like 2 top ways that like if I were to die, that's what I wanted. Okay. And a shark attack was one of them.
Okay. What the fuck?
But okay, let me explain. This was kind of back in the day when they weren't too like common. So my thought
like shark attacks themselves.
Yes. Okay. So my thought process was like, yeah, girl gets eaten by shark. That's a headline. Doesn't really happen. So if I'm going out like
you were trying to do that type of thing.
Yeah.
You wanted to be known for your death.
Right. So okay. But now they're too common. I don't want to get eaten by a shark. And then what it's like if it just takes my leg and leaves.
You don't get the same type of clout. Is what you're saying.
Well, and I realize how terrible.
It's crazy how clout chasing goes all the way to death. Like, it does extend to death. Like, people that are, taking pictures for Instagram, doing handstands on the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? Next to the Grand Canyon. And
yeah, see, I'm not doing that. At least post the video.
Well, and you're that person, like, you were there.
Yeah.
And you caught it on video because you were videoing them. Mm-hmm. You have a video of your friend falling into the Grand Canyon now.
Yeah.
Do you delete it? Do you ever watch it? Oh. Do you try to capitalize off of it? Like, do you give it?
I don't think you can do that.
You don't think anyone can do it? Or you don't think, a good person?
Right. I don't think I could do that. But I'm sure there's people out there.
If it's this ticket, like, I know if I post this, I can monetize this. This is going to go crazy.
I think that's really sad if somebody, like, that's their, like, thought process for that.
Hey, I know.
You know, give it to the family. The family can choose what they want to do with that. That's wild.
I think people are willing.
But there's for sure people out there.
They're just trying to, just get as close as, because that's really compelling. When you're just, like, right next to something, you're like, what the fuck? Speaking of, have you seen the show on Netflix, Chimp Empire?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it about chimps?
It's about chimps.
Okay.
It's about chimps in the Congo.
Okay. Is it like a documentary?
I think it's called like Nyoko or Naboko. I kind of forget the name of it, but it's a certain place in the Congo in the jungle. And they just show like the Western chimps and the Central chimps and these wars that rage on throughout the years. And they've been there for years and years. So they're seeing chimps grow up. They're seeing chimps leave the alpha position and new ones come in, and the fights and skirmishes for that, and the new babies born, and the challenging for space and resources for, fruits and shit like that. They are just so fascinating to like look at and watch. And the fact that these people can get so damn close, because when you see this type of footage, I think it's the best that's probably ever been done. Like the footage, there are like 3 or 4 episodes, and I think they're about an hour or so long each. It's some of the best fucking programming you'll ever watch.
You said it's on Netflix?
Yeah, they get up on them. And it was interesting because then I heard the person talk on the Joe Rogan experience, like the JRE. And he was saying, it's so fascinating, the director was saying, how little they care about you.
Oh.
Like they recognize, like they acknowledge you're there, because you start thinking of, because these motherfuckers are strong. They will rip you up.
Yeah.
They will rip you the fuck apart if they want to.
Yeah.
They don't care about you. Like there were all these camera people around, and there's clearly stuff like don't run up on them, and you know what I mean? Like don't do anything super aggressive, but you should see the camera footage that they have.
It's like, you're not the prey.
It's so precious. They don't care. Like you're there and they know you're there, but they're catching video of warring happen in front of them. And just these, people, or not people, but it's so close to people. It's just like, because we share like 98% or like DNA with them. It's fucking crazy. And you see these social structures, like these hierarchies, and them doing things like grooming each other to try to become friends with certain ones for certain reasons. And certain chimps have certain desires. Like they're all individuals, and they've named every single chimp, and there are hundreds and hundreds of chimps, and they've named every single one of them because they all have such different personalities and different goals. And you can tell, like, some want to rise to the top and be the alpha male. Some want to have some women want to have women. Some of the females want to have the children. Others don't seem to be that way.
That's so interesting.
They're really exotic, playful ones. They're ones that are very to themselves, and they don't get groomed. And if you don't get groomed, they go through each other's hair, like their fur.
Yeah.
And like take out little
like
ticks and bugs and stuff like that. And they and it's also just like a soothing kind of thing that they do for one another. It's sort of like their conversation in some weird way. And some of those, super isolated chimps don't get that. And then they get left out of the sort of the party, and they go on patrols. Like they patrol the area, like certain.
It's like a whole society.
Yeah, like certain chimps will go out on patrol, and they'll try to extend their territory. And sometimes that means running into some other chimps and either getting it popping, or sometimes they just talk shit to each other and then they leave. But sometimes, usually, if like a chimp is caught slipping, and it's like one chimp, and there are 7 chimps that find that chimp from like another society.
Oh no.
Oh man, it's so sad. It's fucking, because it's just fucking sad. It's so sad. Especially when it's some chimp that wants nothing to do with fighting. It's like some really sweet chimp.
Aww.
That just, does its own thing, and it was just out there eating some nectarine somewhere. or a fucking mango.
It's on someone else's territory.
Yep, and they just caught them slipping, and it's just fucking
Just gets a shit rock.
Terribly.
Aw.
So it's a very, very interesting thing, but just to be able to get that close to them and get this film is wild.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, when you see the speed at which these things are moving when they're attacking each other, you're just like, how do you fucking keep your composure as you're filming this? Because, you know, you're trying to do a good job filming this thing, and you have these large.
Are you sure they're not just like zooming in? Are they really that close?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Because some things, they're definitely zooming in and like getting in, because they'll show you their eyes, and like you'll see. It's not like looking into a shark's. It's not like looking into a shark's eyes. He said that sometimes I think they're not supposed to, like, there are rules, like you're not supposed to get within like 10, 15 feet, something.
That's still
like
really
that.
close.
It is really close. So they stay within that 20 or 25, whatever it is. But but the chimps don't know the rules. So if the chimps, you know, close that distance and they seem amiable, then sometimes they close that distance, and you're 5 feet away from a chimp.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Know? Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Wow.
So fucking crazy.
I would do it.
You would?
I think so. I love animals, and just, I mean, I like the exotic animals and all the, we see squirrels and cows and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, I want like.
But when you look into a chimp, sometimes it's like the way, sometimes they're laying back like I do. I saw a fucking chimp sitting back in a tree. This motherfucker was thinking. He was like this. He was like.
Oh, he was laid out.
He legit like had his hand, like his head in his hand, and had his leg crossed over like a gentleman, and was just laid up in a tree looking up. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
There was this other chimp they showed for a couple of seconds, and it was just like a full on, like it like stood up on its two legs and just looked straight into the camera, and it was like just a presence, like you were looking at something that's looking back at you in an aware type of way.
Right.
Like, I see you.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, fuck. Like, what that would be like in real life. In the real world. Not that it's a zoo.
Right.
Not at the zoo.
No.
It's so wild how we do zoos.
Somebody said the other day, do you think that, like, at zoos, like, animals think that, like, we're the exhibit?
I gotta be honest with you. That's cute. I don't think so. I think they know they're the prisoners the whole time.
Probably.
I mean, some more than others, for sure. Like the fish, probably, you know what I mean?
They're fish.
But
like
I think
elephants.
like the chimps and like the tigers, you know, because for the most part, become pretty tame. You know, they're chilling. It ain't no real fucking tiger out there.
I'm still not going to go up and pet
They're
it.
different. Yeah, they're different. No, I don't think you can pet them at the zoo.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
But if I worked there, I still would not.
But even people where there have been zoos where there are just some bars and shit there, and people are going and putting their head right next to the bars and getting their fucking neck pulled through by a silverback gorilla. Fucking idiot. People love to do shit like that. I want to ride them. I want to ride the silverback.
Yeah.
I want to ride the lion. Right? Dumbass shit like that, and get too close and get smacked by a lion paw.
Could you imagine? Yo. Those are big ass feet. And the power behind that.
I know. That's what's funny. Like, let's just say they don't even get mauled. Like, they don't even get scratched or scarred. Like, it's just the palm part that just smacks you in the face. That's coming with some fucking power. But yeah, zoos are weird. I don't think, maybe when I was really, really, really young, I went and maybe enjoyed, you know, looking at the fish in the aquarium part. Like, oh, this is really cool. Mm-hmm. But that shit didn't last long. I don't think I grew up just thinking like, man, zoos are really cool. Like, man,
I still like zoos.
These shits are prisons.
No, they definitely are. I enjoy going to aquariums more than like a zoo.
We feel differently about fish.
Yeah,
we do.
We do.
That's why people that don't want to go the whole like vegan thing, or like they'll go pescatarian.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, oh, I eat the fish. Fuck them.
Which, I mean, I'm sure they can feel. I don't know if they like the feelings. I mean, like I'd go fishing and like I've had fish where like the hook was like coming out their eye. I'm like, if that was, just like
That's
a
crazy.
wild mammal, then
It'd be wild.
that'd be, you got a hook in a lion's eye.
It's funny. We just look at certain things differently.
I mean, I felt really bad. It hurt me to hurt the fish, but just throw it back in the water, like, he'll be good.
See, I can't do that. If I'm gonna hook a fish, I gotta cook it. I gotta kill it and cook it.
Oh, no.
I don't want to play with lives. I don't want to play with your life. Go back out there. I might catch you again. I don't want to do that. Being a fish and getting hooked 3 times in a day is like, man, what the fuck?
Yeah. Then you probably.
That's terrible, man. That's a terrible.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah, I don't want to play with the lives. Yeah, if I was going to be into the whole hunting game, like, I would hunt for food.
Right. Hunting for sport is completely, which I guess the same with like fishing.
Yeah, like you just like, I got fishing. You. Go back in there. Get you again, motherfucker. Good luck next time.
I thought about that. Yeah. Like, I don't support hunting unless it's, like you're doing it for survival. Hunting for sport, I don't support that. I love fishing. I grew up fishing. I felt so because I'm putting them back.
I know it's rough.
Man.
It's rough.
Those
moral implications are rough.
Not a fan of that.
I know.
Not a fan of that. Because then I would feel even worse like cooking them. Because then now I've killed you.
So the question is like, do you participate at all? Like on what level do you want to participate? Because we're all eating it. Like I'm eating it.
Yeah.
So I'm participating.
If somebody asked me if I wanted to go fishing tomorrow, I would still say yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you're still going to go. And you're going to throw it back.
Yeah.
You're still going to throw it back. We've had this conversation. You've had an epiphany of sorts. And you're like, yeah, but I'm going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just how it goes. It's tough, man. That's what we may be to the AI. It's just like, fish, like, yeah. Like,
I'll fuck with them today.
Like, it's inconsequential.
We'll see. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, I could see myself fucking with them one day and like wanting them in my house, and then other days I just want to cook them.
It'll learn that, like, it's like there was an episode of SpongeBob where they're getting hooked. And you got to learn, just don't go near the shiny new hooks.
Right. I remember that episode. Yeah, like don't go over there.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of dark.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what,
So maybe the fish are learning. Like I'm. You know what? I'm teaching them. I'm teaching the fish to stay away from the hooks.
I thought about this moment that I had with my stepmom, and I'm so glad that she called me out on my bullshit. Because I even knew I was spewing bullshit at the time. This was years ago. I can't think about how long. It was years ago. I was definitely still in much more my douchebag era. And
it's so crazy to think about. Whole different person.
Very. I'm so glad you didn't know me then.
Yeah, because, on one hand, I would have been able to see the growth and appreciate it a lot more. On the other hand, have I wanted to see that growth?
Yeah.
I know Earl. Yeah. Do I?
Right. Because I'm certain that's still some people's perspective of me, which is interesting. Now that I'm
But, people change.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't.
So was it I was talking about
you were talking about your stepmom.
Yeah, she called me out on this bullshit because I tried to say that bullshit that you just did, in a sense, where I was talking about people feeling uncomfortable in conversation with me. Like, and more so me making people uncomfortable in conversation. And there was definitely a time where I was talking to people, and if I kind of felt like they were intimidated, like there was already any sort of intimidation factor at all at play, sometimes I would play towards that, and I would kind of ramp it up a bit and do things. Like I would read them and do things.
You asshole.
Yeah, for sure. Craziness. Like to make them more intimidated by me in the conversation.
That's funny that you said that, because as you started to have your introduction to this, my thought was you can tell, maybe you're intimidating to talk with just because you are in your world and you are just Earl. And my first thought was but you're such a chameleon. You can talk to anybody, and you can, I don't want to say stoop down to someone's level, but you can meet them where they're at.
Yes. That's always the nicer way of putting that.
Yeah. But it's not where that went.
No. And,
you were just aware of that and then fucked with them more.
For sure. Because it made me feel better about myself because I was an insecure piece of shit. Because, so to make them feel like they were lesser than, or that like they're looking at me and they can clearly, whatever the fuck it is I'm giving off, that is already putting them in an intimidated state. I'm like, I have to bolster that ego of mine.
Yeah.
So I lay it on even heavier, whether it be the rate at which I'm speaking or the words that I'm using or whatever. There were things that I would do, you know what I mean? Or the concepts that I was bringing in weird ways. Like I would just do things like that and fuck with people. And it was like terrible. But clearly I was trying to fill some void. Like I wanted to feel grand. You know what I mean?
I'm glad.
And as I was having a conversation with my stepmom about it and saying, yeah, I mean, when people are just uncomfortable around me, like I kind of lean into it because I'm helping them. I'm putting them in an uncomfortable position where growth happens. Because if they don't go in those situations, then they
No, Earl.
Hey, listen, first of all.
Because my first thought was bullshit.
This was like 7 years ago. And I don't know how long it was, but it was something like that. And I said that to her. And as I was saying it, I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you know why you do it.
Yeah.
You just don't want to say it aloud. And she was like, that's bullshit, Earl. You just do it because it makes you feel better about yourself. And I was like, you're right. Like, in me, I was just like, you're right.
Like, I'm not going to try and stand my own
thank
here.
you for saying that because that was stupid of me to say. Like, and
was that like the turning point?
It was.
Good.
Yeah. Around then I was just like, okay, so what am I doing?
Yeah.
Because like once you admit that, right, you're being either one of two people. The type of person that knows that thing and doesn't do anything about it. I'm just not that person. So like once I can detect a real issue, it's like, oh, I need to do something about that. That's how I feel. So I was like,
yes.
I expressed that to myself and to her. It was like, oh yeah, no, I need to work on myself so I don't feel like I need to do that.
Yeah. I don't like that this stemmed from me and the fish. Because if it is anything, like with people, I'm not out here like, oh, we had this conversation. I'm gonna still go like, fuck with the person out there. Da da da. It's a fish. No. But I'm not going to do that to a person. I'm also not going to do that to like a dog. So it's a fish.
Hey, listen, I met someone at a point in time and I believe they were from Vietnam. Her name was T. And it was very casually was brought up in conversation because it was a very casual thing for her to have in conversation. But somehow or another, she was like, oh yeah, I used to eat cat all the time. Like,
but that's like normal.
It's normal there. Mm-hmm. So it's
you can go
really
get some, like,
just
fried guinea pig.
Right. So it's just depending upon where you go, what people grew up with. Like the way we treat dogs, people don't be looking at dogs like that at a lot of places. Like there's sheer protection. Mm-hmm. I met my friend Uzima, many years ago. We started working at the resort together. We started seeing the way dogs were treated. Like royalty. Mm-hmm. Beautiful dogs. All out of the whatever the fuck dogs get their hair cut at.
Just the groomer.
The groomer. Yes. Straight out the groomer.
You don't have them at like your barbershop?
Yeah, right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dogs with beautiful lives, drinking sparkling water and having all the little booties on and sweaters and scarves.
Yeah.
And,
some people go all out
all
with
that
their
sort of stuff. Yeah, some dogs have their own little houses. Mm-hmm. Like not just a regular dog house, like a dog house. Mm. You know what I mean? Like a fucking 800 square footer or some shit like that.
Yeah, some people are crazy.
Yeah, man. But some places, he's like where he came from, dogs were specifically to harm people that came to harm you or intrude on your living space. Mm-hmm. Like that's what we had them for. So they were outside all of the time. That's what they did. Yeah. Protected us. We didn't go out there and hug them. We didn't come have
They weren't family.
They were just, not family.
They were an employee.
They were an employee for life.
Yep.
Life
I always see like this meme and it's like, some people are like, oh, like you let your dog sleep in the bed. And it's like, I'd let my dog borrow the car like if it wants to. Like facts.
the dog borrowed the car if it was. I like love. I like when people love things. My only issue is when your love for something is just impeding on my existence, right? So when people don't do it, but this is just me with people like raising children, even like raising children, raising dogs. Like when you're responsible for some shit that you didn't have to be, you didn't have to buy the dog, you didn't have to have the child, but you decided to. And now that you did, just try to make them a decent member of society. Right. I shouldn't be chased, but this dog shouldn't be trying to kill me.
Right.
This little human shouldn't be trying to kill me. Like, try to raise someone with some fucking common decency.
Yeah.
What's funny is, that's a wild way to segue to this, but Von Marie and I were talking about the actual like death of her cousin. Right now, the reason that it's funny is because she's very interesting in the way that she looks at stuff. Like, this was her cousin, right? She loved this person. And the other one was blinded. It was like some kids went in there trying to rob them. They had guns. They got scared because they didn't expect the people to be awake or be there or whatever. They shot. Someone died. Another person got blind. Those kids went to jail for life.
Wow.
They are 16, 17 years old, right? They're going to jail for life. And the question I was asking her was like, yo, because she's sad for them as well.
Right.
You know?
I mean, yeah, their life is...
Some people don't get past just the hurt and pain for their lost loved ones, you know what I mean? But she's like, those kids, though, like, they're children.
Yeah.
And they were just stupid and made a terrible, sequence of decisions.
Yeah.
I'm like, imagine being the parents, just on an investment standpoint, just as an investor. Like, you are a woman, you held this baby or babies in your womb for 9 months. That fucking took a toll, right? You had the baby. That didn't feel the best. We got to put in some money, right? Because this baby needs some food, clothing, shelter. We got to make sure that we're giving it everything that it needs. You're investing a ton of time, the restless nights, just waking up 2 a.m. in the morning, never going back to sleep, hopefully you're with your significant other.
Yeah.
Right. And y'all can do this together. If you're single, you're doing it alone. Putting it in camp, putting it. Look at the way I'm talking about stuff. What's wrong with me? Why am I so desensitized to stuff? Putting this child into camps, trying to just expose this child to things, right? Give it opportunities.
Yeah.
For 16 or 17 years, also at one point in time, this child can shoot someone and go to jail for life.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. You know how hot I'd be.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, oh my, he did what?
Yeah.
He's going forever?
Yeah, but at the same, yes, 100% for sure, agreed. But at the same time, it's not in every case, but you hear about stories like this, and the first thing that I want to know about is how that child was raised, because obviously they needed to be cared for to make it to 16. But like, depending on what their backstory is, their parents may not have put in this much effort and investment for them to get to this point, and that's why they are where they are at that point.
Good point.
Because I never at 16 I wasn't doing anything like that, but I was raised out otherwise. So
facts. Like, sometimes I think about the wildest things that I was doing, and they were wild, but it was never in like, my motive was never to hurt anyone.
Right.
It was like, I never had the spirit of just harming other humans. Yeah. So I wasn't a part of the brigade of kids that were throwing huge ass just things on on the parkway. Just crazy obstruction.
Just for shiggles.
Just whatever the biggest things you can, just huge ass branches you find and just throw them out on the parkway and sit in the woods and watch to see if people crash, swerve out of the way. Crazy. crazy. Like there are people doing that.
Yeah.
I knew one of them.
Oh. Were
Like
they
a good,
from
like a
an
good.
acid?
Oh, I'll tell you who they are when we get off.
Please do.
Matter of fact, I'll tell you right now. Without watch this.
Are we sure? I'm gonna
Watch this. We had a long conversation about them before we started the podcast.
No,
Yeah.
you're lying.
No, they were one of those people just out there because as far as that person remembers, they were bored. They just remember being bored out of their minds.
That's not what you do when you're bored.
I know.
Get it together.
But when it's you and a bunch of kids around that do shit like, shit like that, or adjacent like things like kids at that point, they're fighting in the streets where he came from. They're just doing all sorts of wild shit. That's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah. That just wasn't my motive.
No.
That's not where my spirit was. And you're right. You do have to think, well, what was on your mind? Well, what was on your mind is probably some decent indicator of the type of life you were living.
Yeah. Which, that's not in all cases, of course.
Yeah.
But like,
Sometimes you just want to try to do bad shit that you don't got to do though. Like those kids there were times I wanted to sell weed when I was like 10th, 11th grade. There's this other kid, Amari, that wanted. At the time, he was like, yeah, I know where the plug is at. Like, I know where to get some. All we got to do is put our money together. We need this amount of money. It was like 3 of us, I think. We need this amount of money for each of us. We can buy it from them, and then we can start selling. We need this amount to re-up. Like, we felt we had like some little stupid plan. Do I need to sell weed? No. Like I'm fine. I'm not hurting. I'm not
10th grade.
I'm not hungry. Right? Like I'm just fine. But the idea of getting some little pocket, pocket cash on you, walking around money, if you will, to do shit like
go to the 7-Eleven. Like, what are you doing with that?
Getting nachos and hot dogs at the 7-Elevens, candy, soda, shit like that, so I don't have to steal it, because I was definitely going and stealing. Right? Because, I was definitely one of those, for sure. I was definitely going in, putting stuff in my pockets. I used to go to a place called Rugged Warehouse. I'd wear big clothes, because this was back in the fashion where all the kids were wearing big clothes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 3 times your size. And you would just go get a tall tee from Foot Locker or some shit like that, or Foot Action, and you throw the tall tee on in big ass jeans that don't fucking fit you at all. I'm a waist 30. I'm wearing like 38 waist. Just dumbass shit, right? Pants just folding over top of themselves over your shoes, because it's all about the swag is just big ass clothes for some fucking reason. Right. Swallowed up. I'm all of fucking 90 pounds inside of all of this fabric. Don't make no fucking sense. But I would wear that, and I'd go into the place, and I would just, when I would go to the racks, I would just take 2 of the things off the rack. You know what I mean? But it kind of looked like I just had this one shirt. And then I would take it before they started locking up all the dressing rooms, right? And see, I was the motherfucker that ruined that for us. You ruined the seasoning with the popcorn, and I ruined this for us. So I would just go in there, and I would put one on underneath all my clothes. So I put like one, like I'd walk out of there with like 4 or 5 shirts on.
Like I know some people who put like a shirt on, but like not like I'd put a whole week's worth of clothing.
I could have like 3 new outfits walking out.
Yeah, I could never do anything like that. There was one time where an old friend and I were like,
let me finish the story, because then with the weed, I was like, oh nigga, I'm about it. So I went to my dad and I asked him, I need this amount of money, school trip, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't know what I asked for, but I need this amount of money. And he gave it to me, and I went back and I tried to like jump into this new gang of like, oh, we're going to be the little drug dealers in here. It's going to be cool. And that motherfucker backed out. He was like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to keep talking to him and see. Yeah, exactly. Some weird shit happened. But yeah, I didn't need that. But sometimes you just want to do a little something. Damn, sell weed. Ooh.
I don't think I could ever do it. So yeah, my friend and I were at like Walmart. And
the fuck it. Oh shit. Oh, let me see if I can.
Oh, it's on the iPad.
Hey, Keon, what's up, man? What's going on? How you doing? All right. Should I? Oh yeah, this was the big day. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm definitely gonna call you back. All right, later.
You're like, come on, man. I was just trying to talk to you. I don't want to be on the pod.
Oh, that's funny as hell. Okay, anyway.
So we're at Walmart, and I don't know why we thought to try and take some, because that's just not who we were. I think we tried to take some $5 glitter. So everything, we took some glitter, and I thought I was slick because we had already gone shopping. I think I had a Victoria's Secret bag, and I had it one hand, and I'm just walking, open the bag and just kind of let it drop in there. We got to the exit and
they turned you right back around.
Yep, they definitely saw us doing that somewhere. And it was just so embarrassing because it's at this point they're this is a $5 thing of glitter. Y'all really could. I was I don't even need the glitter.
Yeah, that's the
it
thing.
Was just we were just trying it. No, that was the one and only time that I have consciously taken something.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Not about that life.
Yeah, sometimes you just wanna do it.
But yeah, here, okay. Stealing from a store. What I did a lot was taking my parents' car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how Lexi and I would get to the party. He's all right, bet my parents out of town for the weekend. I got the whip.
Oh, you were one of them.
Let's go.
Yeah, not me.
Yep.
Not me.
We were always taking the car. Or I'd be I would tell my parents that Lexi has her license. She did not. I think at that point neither of us even had.
That's so funny, and no one ever asked her to see it. Can I see your license?
Yeah.
May I please see your license and registration? I need to do. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Young stuff was fun. Mm-hmm. I definitely did some egging. I've certainly egged a few houses.
Man, remember they had their house egged, and that shit's not easy to get up.
Oh, I'm certain it's not.
Yeah,
no, it's not
I couldn't do anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I just had
a conscience back then. Trees. Yeah, no, not me.
That's a waste of toilet paper. We could have another pandemic.
I was just so bored. I would spray paint. There were times I was spray painting.
That's just crazy because when I think about when I was younger. And when we were bored, those were not things that we were doing.
Yeah, no.
Just we were not doing that stuff, but
yeah, there was something about going out and getting into a little bit of trouble. Just doing some small things that might get you in some trouble. It was fun, but your cantankerous young boys running around, because what one boy will do is nothing compared to what 5 boys will do.
And maybe that's the difference. You guys were boys, and
you just ramp each other up, and it's
girls were not doing that.
It gets bad fast. Guys, boys are just stupid.
Yeah,
you're just trying to conquer the world. That's kind of what that show Old Enough is sort of about, because I've seen. This may have just been an Asian baby. Maybe has nothing to do. It may have just been a bad Asian baby that I saw in real life. So this may have nothing to do with the actual lifestyle, but it seems as though they want this child to sort of run around, because there's this family that's been coming to the resort quite often. For years, I've been seeing this child every few months. They'll come to the resort, so they clearly got money. And I'm just seeing this child kind of grow. It's this little fucking Asian boy just running around, touching whatever, touching whoever, just running around the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And they just allow this little boy to do this. And I think it's something about not stunting its creativity.
I understand that to a degree.
Wanting them to just kind of feel a confidence about moving about in the world.
You can do that without having your child run around the restaurant
emperor.
Is a jungle gym for them.
Yeah,
your kid can do that at the table. I saw a little video. The kid was at the house. It wasn't running around and stuff, but it's a dad was watching the kid open and close the fridge. And then he realized that he's doing that because he's watching the light. And so then the kid's inspecting the fridge and trying to figure out how the light turns off. That is letting them and their creativity and minds, be independent. He's working that out on his own. That's great. Don't stunt that. Let him work that out. Don't let him run around the restaurant, just doing whatever the hell he feels like doing.
Slamming into other people.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
No, that was not a thing for me, mostly because of the threat of an ass whooping. And it's interesting, how normal that was in society, in certain cultures, in certain points in time, and probably, I mean, still today in certain cultures, like there's still people today that'll tell you, "Oh, I'll beat the shit out of my kid." And it's like when you hear that, it feels a little different now. Like these days, like beat the shit out of. Like, well,
I mean, you don't gentle parent?
Yeah, like hold on a second, like what are you doing? And it's the only way they can learn. Let me tell you something. I got my ass whooped a lot. I kept doing what I wanted to do. Like that wasn't going to be it for me.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, so you're gonna beat my ass, but like generally speaking, I get to live the life I want to, and I just have to endure some ass whoopings.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. I can take that on. Now, I don't think I was really conceptualizing it that way.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's what was happening.
Right.
Because I was like, yeah, that's fine. Whoop my ass.
Yeah.
I'm back out here. You know, it's tough, though, when like certain people grew up with that and they don't know any, like, that's just who they were at the time. I don't think, like, my dad now would do that. You know, but at the time, motherfucker was just probably frustrated. Like, Earl, this little motherfucker is just pissing me off. Like, he won't sit and listen in his classrooms. His teachers are always calling me when I'm at work. Like, he's just running around. Like, he's just doing too much. He's doing too fucking much. I was definitely a problem child.
Yeah, I didn't, like, our parents never, like, whooped us or anything. But, like...
That's nice.
I probably could have used it. But, yeah, you know...
But you grew up to be a nice person, though.
Yeah.
You know, you just grew up to be, like I said, like good Samaritan aside from just, you know, playing around with fish's lives. But you're just really, really nice, and you didn't have to get your ass whooped to get there.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily say that, you know, my parents were like, you know, all about like the gentle parenting. Like my dad still would like scare the shit out of me if I did something, but like...
Shake you up a little bit? He ever shake you?
No, I don't think so. No, it's just like I know when I piss my dad off. You know, my mom is one thing. You know, her and I went at it. Oh. But if my dad, nope, no, I'm not gonna fuck around with my dad. Yeah. So like I know like you don't have to get your ass beat to like, you know,
to respect
right
and obey.
But at the same time, there are sometimes like I think about like with my kids, and it's my work kids, because I don't have kids. But like sometimes I'm just like, nah, they just need to get popped.
Oh, you think so?
And it is bad because like I work with kids on the spectrum. I see. So like I do behavioral therapy for kids with autism, and sometimes it needs to be physical therapy. Okay, but like for an example, like I had a kid one time who luckily it was with the eraser end, but he took a pencil, stabbed me like right under my eye.
Yeah, he told me.
Earl, that kid needs to get his ass beat.
You think that the ass whooping would shock something and then they'd be like, oh, that I can't do that anymore.
What
do you think?
I think that we would have been at it for a while.
Being at it.
We would have been at it.
With the special needs child is crazy.
I had one who...
You don't want to be at it.
No, you don't. It was a home... So, like, when we were at the center, we had what we called a blue room. And it was, like, a padded room. Wow. So, like, if they were really aggressive, they'd go in there and, they would just beat on the walls, whatever. Right. They weren't beating on us. You have no... Like, when I first started, I mean, there are days where I came home and I looked like I was in a brawl. Like, I think I still have, like, some scars.
Wow, man, that were from...
Like,
that's beautiful. That patience that you have to work on. Ooh, every day.
Well, it's funny because people say, like, oh, you must be really patient. I'm not. I'm super impatient. But when it comes to, like, kids, I'm patient. And that's probably why I'm impatient, because all my patience goes to the kids. So when it comes to adults and things out, and, you know.
I just look at the adults the same way. Because I look at them, you know, there's always, of course, that second where you're just like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
But I like to redefine fuck you. Because when I say fuck you, it's just like, you're really frustrating me right now. And what you're doing is not conducive to an awesome lifestyle for the rest of us. But I care for you and I wish the best for you. Because the best for you is the best for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wishing ill upon them. But like at this age, like you should be able to do better.
I know. But the thing is, it's like, that's not how it goes. Because
it's not.
Because they were just a child. And they just kept having birthdays. They just kept breathing and eating food and sleeping. And they just didn't learn whatever lessons they were supposed to. So, like, I'm sure
it would be harder. But don't you think that there's just one day where, like, they'd wake up and be like, you know what? I'm too old for this. Like, this can't
Sometimes that happens.
That needs to happen.
And, you know, and sometimes it just happens in certain aspects of their lives. And you wish that it was in other aspects, too. But it's just not. You know, some people grow up and they're wildly sophisticated and matured in certain things about their life. and they're just on top of it.
Yeah.
But you always have to think, as I said before, it's very, very hard to cover all aspects of life at the same time. So you have to just think, if you're really, really, really good at this, what are you really bad at?
Yeah.
Right? So that just sort of happens. Sometimes people are really, really great at things, and they've worked super duper hard their whole life. They were really studious, and they were career driven and wanted to become something, and they got the money and maybe some notoriety in their immediate community for whatever reason, and they have a nice house and nice car, and they're secure, all this sort of stuff. But they're just sad as fuck because they just haven't really taken time to deal with some inner demons that they have, you know what I mean? And that's just part of their maturity, where that it just never, they just have some arrested development in this part of their life. And that just happens. That happens for a lot of people. I was having that conversation with someone about like super hot people, like that spend their time trying to be as sexy as possible. I'm like, there are plenty of very beautiful and sexy, intelligent, super impressive in a lot of ways people. And then there are a lot of people that are not that. And you just wonder sometimes, like, if you take so much of your time doing this thing, like, what are you not doing? When was the last book you read?
Yeah.
What was the last this you did?
Like, how is that enough for you?
Yeah, and then you start to realize the things where they, sort of lack. Which is why when you come across someone that's, I mean, if you're any person with any real sort of standards for people, you see someone that you find very highly physically attractive, and then you start talking to them and shit starts going south. It really doesn't take that long for them to not be nearly as attractive as they once were before they uttered words.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's such a problem. I just feel like so many people, it's kind of when I was talking to somebody about this the other day, as far as like me and like my dating life, it's just that I find so many people just so boring.
Damn.
Yeah, no, people are just...
Tell me about can I take one more bathroom break and we're going to come right back to this? We're going to finish this up and no, matter of fact, I can hold it. Okay. I just want to listen to this and then we can wrap this up. Tell me about the people being boring to you. What is happening?
Okay, so just like not...
What's the usual setting of a date? Let's start with that.
I mean, doesn't matter. It can be boring wherever we are.
The thing is, I was going to say maybe sometimes other stimuli like sort of help it out a bit. Like
I would say like, like I always like a first date, just like drinks or like food and something, because then I can like talk to you. I don't like to go like bowling first because I can't have like a good conversation with you. But okay, for an example, there was somebody who I was hanging out with just for like a short while when I first moved to Richmond. He was very nice.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out, it's funny to ask, what is the bland aspect, but that may just be the aspect. Everything just seems dialed down. He's not funny. Is not a good storyteller. Doesn't speak about things passionately.
We could have conversation, and it would be a conversation. It would.
You would say words and then he would say words, and you guys would keep doing that until you guys left.
He wasn't hard to talk to.
Okay.
We could have conversation.
Okay.
But it's like
fluid.
Yeah. Okay. Easy to talk to. And I don't have a big personality. I don't walk in a room and I'm really loud, but I can be goofy. Sure. I think at times I'm funny. I have so. A personality. And
I have a personality, I'm here.
This person just didn't. And I remember talking to one of my friends, and her now husband, when they first started dating, was just very quiet. She's kind of the same one, she's funny. She's not super loud, but just maybe a little bit more personality than him. He's very quiet. And she's like, JP, you just don't want to don't underestimate the quiet guys. Cause maybe one day he'll be comfortable enough and bring that out. And I'm like, I understand that works for you. And that's great, but that's not me. Because I'm not going to sit around for 6 months.
You don't want to wait to see if it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then, that's just a waste of time. Because then if it's not, like, oh, you want me to wait another 6 months? No, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And I knew that this one was just too boring. Because when I feel like I have to compress my personality and who I am so that I'm not like just doing too much.
Wow. You felt like you were like maybe overloading him with your theatrics? Because
I don't even think I'm like that theatrical.
I know.
Right. And I feel like, from like what you would like know of me, I just feel like I'm like compressing that a little bit more. And I'm like, that I'm not doing that. I know what I'm looking for in person, and that's just not it. I'm not settling. I would rather be single than to be with somebody who I just find too fucking boring.
Yeah.
And that's the problem these days that I just, no, I'm not doing that.
You don't want to do that.
I just think that people are just really boring. And so.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think you.
I think that I think a lot of times the ones who seem to be who are physically attractive, maybe they just have relied on their looks too much.
Oh, so
I don't know. And they just.
Right. So you're going after a lot of good looking people. Yeah.
Not even that, because they're boring.
Well, I'm just saying. Like, when
I wouldn't say I'm going after good. I mean, I'm going after people who I find attractive.
Right.
But okay, so like that I've done like the online dating and stuff. So it's like if I come across a profile that is just like their height, I'm not swiping because you're relying on your looks there.
Oh, saying,
the best ones are when like in their bio somewhere they say something about like. It has to do with like a sense of humor, whether it's, they're looking for somebody with one or like they're known as the funny friend. And then I talk to them and I'm like, where'd that go?
Right.
Because it's not here. You're not it. You're not funny. This is not it. So I think that people are just like relying. I don't know. Or maybe the world is just full of just really dull people.
Damn.
I don't know.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
It's rough.
So.
Well, this has been very fun.
It's been a good one.
I'm really happy that you came by to do this, and I guess I'll be seeing you.
Always happy to hop on.
Yeah, so I'll be seeing you soon after you're in the midst of this globe trotting that you're doing in like a couple weeks. Right?
Yeah, I think it's next week because next week is the 4th, right? Already?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be back. I'll probably come up this way like Thursday. Be like a week or so.
Okay, yeah, so I'll see you again. We'll do something.
Cool.
All right, well, I believe this has been episode 172.
That's crazy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's really getting up there.
I appreciate that. Thank you for everybody listening. Peace.